Chronicles of the Stellar Mecha War. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126 Salary Temptation. After Lin Fan hung up the phone, the smile on her face slowly faded. She first asked Jin Sichin, "Is there 100,000 in my salary card?" She forgot how much salary was in the contract she signed at that time, but vaguely remembered that it was a little higher than the 20,000 monthly basic salary that John Woo had mentioned at the beginning. "Of course there is. You have been on the ministerial salary for a few months ago. Let me think about it. It has been 3 or 4 months. It must be more than 100,000. It is more than 100,000 a month." "Okay," Jin Sichin replied. "Can I ask what is the ministerial salary standard of your special affairs office?" Lee Chun-ho was curious. Normally, he would not dare to ask Jin Sichin this question, but today the atmosphere happened to be here, and he could not suppress his curiosity. Different ministers have different salaries according to their degree of danger, but the basic salary level is the same, starting from 100,000, and there are a variety of benefits. Jin Sichin carefully described the benefits he remembered. Looking at the expressions on the faces of the 800 people who were gradually losing control, he smiled triumphantly. More than 15 million a year. Lee Chun-ho suddenly had the urge to transfer to the special affairs office. But thinking about her own identity and looking at Song Ren's calm face, she quickly regained her sanity. Song Ren was of course surprised, but he didn't show it like Lee Chun-ho. There was no hesitation in changing careers. Not only the two of them were surprised, but also Gao Fei and Gu, and even Lin Fan were surprised. She just became a person with an annual income of tens of millions? How come she didn't feel anything at all? This is only a ministerial level salary. Ordinary employees shouldn't have such a high salary, right? Song Ren noticed Lee Chun-ho's excitement and asked specifically. "No. If you are an ordinary employee, if you have the ability to transform, and your skills are more useful, you will probably have an annual salary of 1 million. If not, it depends on the specific position." Jin Sichin answered truthfully. What about Wu Tekin? Lee Chun-ho couldn't help asking himself. Although he prefers his current identity, it does not conflict with the situation of the curious special affairs office. Wu Yusen is a senior special agent, to levels lower than the minister. I don't know the details, but it should be about 5 or 6 million a year. Jin Sichin thought about it and gave a rough estimate, while Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei exclaimed at the same time. Jin Sichin received the expected effect and continued to increase the stakes. If you go to the special service department, Captain Song should be able to become a senior special agent in a few years, about the same as Wu Yusen. Your initial salary should also be more than 1 million a year. The specific promotion will be based on performance. The special affairs office is really rich. Everyone in the 800 had the same sigh in their hearts. Such a salary standard is much higher than their current salary. And the salary and benefits of entering the reserve team of the 800 are originally higher than those in the military. In this comparison, the Special Affairs Office is really a desirable unit. Although several people love their positions, they inevitably waver for a moment. Song Ren also thought that Wu Yusen left the Special Warfare Department to go to the Special Affairs Office. Could it be this reason? He shook his head. Intuitively, it shouldn't be. The Wu Yusen he knew was a real man with ambitions for his country. He probably joined the Special Affairs Office not just for the money. Jin Sichin smiled again. "Do you think the salary is high?" Gao Fei and Lee Chun-ho nodded in unison. "It must be high." "Then have you ever thought about why it is so high?" Jin Sichin asked with a smile. Several people were stunned. They only thought that the Special Affairs Office had money and never thought about it. "It's very dangerous?" Song Ren reacted immediately. "Yes, the reason why the Special Affairs Office offers such a high salary is that the executors' tasks are usually extremely dangerous. Every time they go on a mission, they are risking their lives. In this way, the money they spend on buying lives each time is added up to such a high salary." "Do you still think it's high?" Jin Sichin said with a smile. But at this time, several people looked at his smile, but they didn't feel as happy as before. "Is the loss rate high?" Song Ren asked with a frown. It depends on the luck of the executor. Jin Sichin said leisurely, because most of them face unknown creatures, it's hard to predict what will happen. Although most of the time they can come back intact, there are also cases where the whole army is wiped out. Besides, even if they can come back, they may be disabled. Otherwise, what do you think our medical department does? It's not for employee physical examinations. Jin Sichin's smile made everyone feel terrible. The psychological state of the executor is much more complicated than that of ordinary people. Everyone thought of the previous stories at the same time. If they were faced with it, they would probably go crazy. This money is not easy to take. It's not easy to take. It's very hot. So our special affairs office spent a lot of money and prepared the best protective equipment for everyone who gave the task. But despite this, there will still be unavoidable accidents. The annual loss rate is still maintained at 20% to 30%. Jin Sichin exhaled from his nose. The loss rate of 20% to 30% is considered very high. Song Ren and others frowned. In places they didn't know, there was a group of people fighting silently to maintain the normal world order. It was natural for them to get such a high salary. We offer a very high salary, not just to motivate them to work, but also to tell everyone that, if something unexpected happens, they will have no worries in the future. Jin Sichin continued. Lin Fan thought of the more than 10 million funeral expenses in the contract signed that year. She cooperated with the research at that time, just because she wanted her parents to get the money, to enjoy their old age, if something unexpected happened. I understand this feeling very well. By the way, did her funeral expenses also increase? Aren't you curious about my eyes? Jin Sichin suddenly changed the subject. Just satisfy your curiosity. After he finished speaking, he stretched out his index finger without warning, pulled down the sunglasses on the bridge of his nose, lowered his head, and his eyes appeared from above the sunglasses. Li Chunhua, Gao Fei and Yu were unable to react in time. They only felt a pink vortex and fainted immediately. Song Ren held on for 2 seconds and fainted as well. Bang, 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 bang. The 4 people fell into a pile and collapsed on the floor. The scene was horrible. Lin Fan looked at Jin Sichin helplessly and saw that he was smiling and waiting for her to look over. Oh, it still doesn't work for you. Seeing that Lin Fan still didn't react when he looked into his eyes, Jin Sichin pushed up his glasses in boredom and drank a mouthful of water with a bad taste. If I understand correctly, did you want to recruit them just now? Lin Fan felt that Jin Sichin had some intention. Yes, we can't just let them dig into our corners. We can also dig into their corners. What if we dig them up? Jin Sichin crossed his legs and said proudly. How long will it take them to wake up? Lin Fan looked at the 4 people who were staggering and was a little speechless. Although according to their physical constitution, they would not be injured, but it felt very strange to fall like this, like a crime scene. Soon, wake up. Jin Sichin had just finished speaking when he saw Song Ren open his eyes. He didn't seem to react to what was going on. He blinked twice, suddenly woke up, and turned over and stood up. Facing Jin Sichin, his eyes were full of vigilance. Don't be nervous, sit down, sit down. Jin Sichin didn't take his reaction seriously and greeted him with a smile. Song Ren glanced at Lin Fan, who was nonchalant, and slowly sat down, but his vigilance against Jin Sichin was not completely removed. Is it hypnosis? He asked in a deep voice, after thinking about what happened. Yes, my talent is hypnosis. Jin Sichin was originally a playful person. After maintaining the image of a big boss in 800 for half a year, he couldn't hold it back any longer, so he took the opportunity to be naughty. Song Ren raised his vigilance from the bottom of his heart. It's really amazing that Jin Sichin has such a talent. No wonder he is called the Special Agent Medusa. He has received special anti-hypnosis training in the Special Operations Department, and he is considered to have a strong willpower, but he can't last for more than 2 seconds. Such a superpower is too dangerous. And there are many people with superpowers in the Special Operations Department. The 3 people on the ground also woke up one after another. They were confused, and it took them a long time to figure out what happened. Climbed onto the chair and sat like a quail. Never dared to look Jin Sichin in the eye again. How is it? Are you still curious about my eyes? Jin Sichin hasn't felt so happy in a long time. Tonight is a really happy day. The three people huddled together on the chairs shook their heads. Never again, never again. People with superpowers are so scary. When can I make 10 million a year? Hahaha, I want this much money. If I can't make it, I'll arrange it for the protagonist. My mother's arrogance. I want votes. Chapter 127 Lin Fan's Dilemma. Lin Fan didn't go to remit the money in person in the end. The next day, when Jin Sichin gave her his work permit and salary card, he also asked for Lin's father's account information. He asked the accountant of the special office to deduct 100,000 yuan from Lin Fan's salary this month and transfer it to Lin's father. Lin Fan also thought it was more convenient. Moreover, if the money was transferred directly from Gao, it would not be easy to be exposed if the family checked any information. After all, if the money was transferred from 800, the place of remittance must be Guang'an. It's okay for Lin's father, but if Lin's mother finds out, it will be another trouble. With the help of Jin Sichin, Lin Fan bound his salary card with a mobile phone app. When he looked at the balance, he was stunned. It's only been half a year, how can there be more than 15 million? Lin Fan counted back and forth several times, and carefully distinguished the decimal point. It was confirmed to be more than 15 million. Li Chunhua and Gao Fei also came up to take a look. After confirming that the number was correct, the two were as excited as if they had seen their friends suddenly win the jackpot and become rich overnight. Especially Li Chunhua. He still remembers that when Lin Fan first came to 800, she didn't even have a decent set of clothes. So he gave her the uniform of the reserve team to wear first. Later, as her body shape changed, the clothes became more and more suitable. But wearing the uniform for a long time also led to other people's misunderstanding of her identity. Even Li Chunhua forgot that Lin Fan was not a member of the reserve team. 15 million is a minimum standard, and there will be bonuses on top. My annual salary is much more than that, and you should be too. I don't know the specific amount. You have to ask the accountant yourself. Jin Sichin said lightly. Lin Fan didn't have any concept of money. She just felt that the number was wrong, so she asked. After Jin Sichin explained, she nodded to show that she understood and didn't mention it again. Li Chunhua looked at the two calm people and admired them. They are really generous, so much money without blinking an eye. The days continued to flow in training. Lin Fan, who thought that the money could be transferred back, received a call from Lin's mother. On the phone, Lin's mother repeatedly asked her to go home. She ignored Lin Fan's excuses. She even yelled and cursed many times, causing a quarrel. Lin Fan once thought about sending some more money back to appease her, but then he thought it was not possible. Once Lin's mother knew that her income was more than what she had said before, she would definitely explode again. There would be no peace in the future. After several entanglements, Lin Fan's mentality had obviously changed from the original peace to a negative development. Even the carefree Li Chunhua felt something was wrong. Song Ren hurriedly contacted Jin Sichin. When Jin Sichin came to the training room, she saw Lin Fan leaning against the wall in a daze, and she cried out in her heart that it was not good. This is a rhythm of her mentality collapsing. Lin Fan. Jin Sichin gently pushed her awake. What happened? Lin Fan looked at Jin Sichin in a daze, hesitated for a moment, and still didn't say it. How to say this? Say that her mother didn't listen to any reason and insisted that she go home for the new year? She wanted to blacklist Lin's mother's phone number countless times, but in the end she didn't. It was also considered that, if there was an emergency, she would regret it for the rest of her life if she missed the call for help. Jin Sichin had some guesses when he came, and he was even more certain after seeing Lin Fan's attitude. There was no one else who could make Lin Fan so timid, except Lin's mother. Is it about you going home for the new year? Jin Sichin sat cross-legged opposite Lin Fan. The others also stopped training and gathered around quietly. Lin Fan was in a bad mood these days, and his training was different from usual. Although everyone had some guesses in private, they still didn't know the real situation. Now that Jin Sichin came forward, they also gathered around to listen with concern. Lin Fan sighed and shook his head helplessly. No matter how powerful Xingqian was, she would still feel helpless when facing Lin's mother. How about I ask the institute to call your mother? Jin Sichin proposed after careful consideration. It's useless. Lin Fan shook his head. She only believes what she sees with her own eyes. How do you say it? Jin Sichin asked. For example, when I was in college, didn't I have to pay water and electricity bills every month for living in the dormitory? Lin Fan said. Jin Sichin didn't go to college in China, so he didn't know what was going on, so he looked at others for help. Lee Chunhe had never been to university, so she naturally looked at Gao Fei and Jiu. However, they were studying at an aviation university, so not only did they not have to pay for water and electricity, but they also received additional subsidies, which they did not know. In the end, Song Ren came to the rescue. Is there any problem? University dormitories do not include water and electricity bills. My mother doesn't believe it. She insisted that there were no water and electricity bills, and that I was wasting money. Lin Fan smiled bitterly. You should have heard from the last phone call that she is a very stubborn person. Stubborn is an understatement. From Jin Sichin's professional perspective, Lin's mother is paranoid. Lin Fan sighed again. So this time, I couldn't go back, and she kept clamoring to go to the company to see my leader. How could I let her go? Even if someone from Rihang helped me deal with it, it would be a big trouble if I was not there. Everyone understood Lin Fan's distress. It was not impossible for Lin's mother to go to Gao, but Lin Fan was not there. Lin's mother would not give up and go back obediently if she could not see Lin Fan. And it was impossible for Lin Fan to leave 800 and go back to see her. Jin Sichin paused. Why not? In fact, from the beginning to the end, no one has restricted Lin Fan's actions. They all took it for granted that Lin Fan could not leave 800. It was fine before, but Lin's mother's nagging behavior now has obviously affected Lin Fan's daily state. You must know that Lin Fan and Xingqian are directly equated. Lin Fan's state will directly affect Xingqian. Moreover, once the stable mentality that has been pulled back with great difficulty falls, the consequences will be disastrous. If you want to return to the current state, you have to work harder than before, and it may not work. Jin Sichin had an idea in his mind. He wanted to try to see if he could let Lin Fan go home. This is the simplest and quickest solution. He first comforted the depressed Lin Fan, and then put forward his own idea. Is it okay? Lin Fan didn't want to go home, but he had never thought about the possibility of going out. But if it is possible, it is indeed the best solution. I don't know. I'm going to ask team leader Yu to see if it's okay. If you continue like this, there will definitely be big problems. Jin Sichin said, and I also want you to be more socialized. You've adapted very well recently, and I think it's time for you to truly integrate into society. Although Lin Fan, who was wandering around the cafeteria, the reserve team, and the laboratory, had adapted well, these places were still very different from the real society after all. In order to verify Lin Fan's recovery, it would be best to let her go outside for a walk. Lin Fan thought it made sense. It would be better to let Jin Sichin try it than to be helpless at present. Others also thought it would be okay to try it. If it didn't work, they would think of other ways. Jin Sichin went to the laboratory to find Yu Guangli without stopping. Give Lin Fan a spring festival holiday? Yu Guangli heard Jin Sichin and hesitated for a moment, but did not reject it immediately. I don't have any problem on my side, but I have to report to Deputy Director Z and see what he says. Jin Sichin thought it would take a lot of effort to convince Yu Guangli, but he didn't expect it to be so smooth. Yu Guangli did not delay and called Zibisheng in front of him. I have a headache today. It's cold. Everyone should wear more clothes. Winter is coming. Can spring be far behind? Keep voting for me. Chapter 128, Changing Face. After several months of debugging, Fu Guang has been repaired to the extreme. Everyone in the laboratory unanimously agreed that his performance could not be greatly improved in the short term. They were not satisfied with the patched up body and planned to use new materials to reforge Fu Guang, and at the same time began to cast the mechas of the other 3 team members. It is roughly estimated that it will take 15 to 20 days to complete the forging. During the whole process, the laboratory will be in a completely closed state. In this case, Lin Fan cannot enter the laboratory without the need to transform. She has a free period of half a month to 20 days 800 for Lin Fan. There is no other special need except Xingqian, so it is not impossible to take a vacation. Yu Guangli reported to Zi Bishing and brought good news to Jin Sichen. Deputy Director Zi said there is no problem, but he still needs to report to Director CUI and listen to the final opinion of the director before he can make a decision. It should be. Things went much more smoothly than Jin Sichen imagined. Zi Bishing is still a good person, but CUI Yan is hard to say. Knowing that the result will not come so quickly, Jin Sichen did not continue to disturb him. At dinner time, several people gathered in Lin Fan's room again and ate with her. Everyone talked and laughed, trying to make Lin Fan happy. Just when she was getting a little better, she was interrupted by the ringing of the phone. Everyone watched Lin Fan's long-lost smile disappear in an instant, and in less than a second, her face was full of gloom. It was as if the smile just now was their illusion. Lin Fan was not only in a low mood, but also had a faint sense of irritability in her heart. Lin Fan. Jin Sichen noticed something was wrong and pressed her shoulder in time. Lin Fan woke up from her emotions, took a long breath, and closed her eyes. When will this day end? She tried to adjust her inner discomfort by herself, but it was obviously unsuccessful. Everyone saw that her facial expressions changed subtly and quickly, switching back and forth between forbearance, irritability, anger, and sadness. Jin Sichen didn't care that there were people around and started to counsel her directly. If this continues, if bipolar disorder develops, it will be a big trouble. Song Ren and the other four had never seen such a quick and forbearing change of face. It felt much more serious than when Lin Fan first came and didn't talk. They all stopped what they were doing unconsciously, fearing that they would disturb Jin Sichen's treatment. Jin Sichen's professional ability was really strong. After 5 minutes of continuous output, when Lin Fan opened her eyes again, everyone saw only calmness in her eyes. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Li Chunhua also found something special. Boss, why do I feel that Lin Fan's eyes seem to have become bigger? Although they were in contact every day, Li Chunhua had never stared at Lin Fan's eyes so intently. Just now, he suddenly found something different. He remembered that Lin Fan seemed to have always had phoenix eyes. At the beginning, he complained that she squinted and couldn't open her eyes. Why did it seem to have become bigger now? Her eyes have always been this big. When Song Ren first saw Lin Fan's information, her photos showed big almond eyes. No, I remember it very clearly. She was like this before, Li Chunhua said, imitating the way Lin Fan drooped her eyelids at the time. When Lin Fan heard it, he glanced at Li Chunhua with his almond eyes and felt a little amused. What's the connection? She probably didn't have the strength at that time, so she couldn't open her eyes, right? Gu quickly deduced the truth after hearing this. Didn't she walk a few hundred meters and breathe heavily? She had to provide energy to the stars, so it's normal that she couldn't open her eyes, right? Jin Sichen smiled and nodded, and Gu's reaction was still very fast. Li Chunhua looked at Song Ren in confusion. Boss, that's right, it's just that you're with her every day, so you didn't realize it all of a sudden. Song Ren didn't expect Li Chunhua to find out about Lin Fan's eye problem until today. In fact, he didn't notice it at the beginning. It was still the first day of teaching Lin Fan to swim. When she came out of the swimming pool and wiped the water on her face, Song Ren saw her eyes and suddenly found that her eyes were open wider than before. Later, after his private observation, he found that the stronger her physique, the wider her eyes opened. He also came to the same conclusion as Gu. When Gao Fei and Gu entered the group, Lin Fan's eyes were already normal. Unexpectedly, Li Chunhua practiced with Lin Fan every day, but never noticed this when she looked at her face. Everyone laughed and teased Li Chunhua, and the dull atmosphere began to become relaxed. However, just as Lin Fan pulled the corner of his lips, the phone rang again. When several people heard the simple electronic sound of ding-ling, they all frowned and looked at Lin Fan. Fortunately, Lin Fan had just been counseled by Jin Sichen, and his mood had improved a lot. She stroked her chest, pressed down her sinking heart, let out a long breath, pointed to the phone on the table with her other hand, and turned on the speakerphone while answering the call. Where were you just now? As soon as the call was connected, Lin's mother's irritable voice came out, and everyone became agitated. Lin Fan licked his lips and replied, the phone is muted. I didn't hear it. Didn't I tell you not to mute it? Don't mute it. I couldn't find you, even if I wanted to, and I thought something happened to you. I was so worried. Lin's mother roared angrily. It was obviously a caring word, but it didn't make people feel comforted. What can happen to me at work? You think too much. Lin Fan exhaled and replied lightly. Mother Lin muttered something on the other end, and asked again, how is the leave you asked for yesterday? Lin Fan ended the call yesterday with the excuse of asking for leave. Who knew that Mother Lin was so impatient, and called again today? Fortunately, Jin Sichin went to ask about the situation today, and told her, when she came back, I have applied for it, but I have to wait for the approval of the leader. Lin Fan looked at Jin Sichin with gratitude. He smiled and shook his head, indicating that he didn't mind. Why do I have to wait for the approval of the leader? If you go to apply, can't it be approved on the spot? Mother Lin was unhappy again. That's how it is in a big company. You have to go through the procedures when you submit the leave application. How can the leader approve it as soon as I say it? The leader is fine and is waiting for me to ask for leave. Lin Fan was talking about the leave application process of her previous company, so she was not lying. How long will it take? Will I know tomorrow? Mother Lin didn't have any common sense. She just complained habitually. I don't know. I have to wait a few days. Don't call to urge me. I will tell you when there is a result. Lin Fan really didn't want to receive calls from her mother again. There was never any good thing, only trouble. What? I can't call you, even if I have nothing to do. You are my daughter. I don't know what made Lin's mother unhappy again. She jumped up instantly. Lin Fan was helpless, frowned and spent a long time to comfort her, and finally hung up the phone. She lowered her head and was silent for a few seconds, and then she gave everyone a smile that was uglier than crying. I thought that answering the phone like this would borrow more strength from you to support myself, but it seems that it still doesn't work. Yes, the reason why Lin Fan turned on the hands-free and answered the phone in front of several close friends was to draw energy from them. But it seemed that it didn't work in the end. Looking at Lin Fan's expression, several people could imagine the miserable situation when she answered Lin's mother's phone alone before, and they all spoke to comfort her. Everyone tried their best to make jokes, and finally made Lin Fan feel better. Because of this incident, everyone's dinner was tasteless, and after returning to the dormitory, they felt that their stomachs were still empty. I'll go to the cafeteria to buy some more food. Song Ren took the initiative to volunteer and was thanked by Gao Fei and Jiu. Lee Chun-ho was also very happy at first, but it took a while for him to react. The last time Song Ren went out so late, he was looking for Cui Yan. Can Lin Fan take a leave to go back for the new year? Guess. Captain Song is going to assist. Don't forget to vote. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129 Cui Yan's treatment. Office building, 7th floor, director's office. Song Ren hadn't been here for a long time, since Cui Yan stopped the monitoring order. Lin Fan was fine, and her daily situation would be reported to the superiors by a special person from 623 on a fixed basis. During dinner, Song Ren heard Jin Sichin say that when Cui Yan was asked to review it, he was still thinking about whether to come here to report the situation. Because Lin Fan's recent situation had not been reported to other people in the group in time, only Yu Guangli knew about it. When he saw Lin Fan's extremely unstable state tonight, he made up his mind to come here to make a special explanation. Lin's mother had a huge influence on Lin Fan, and she was the type who was unreasonable and persistent. As a daughter, Lin Fan had no way to unilaterally cut off such a connection. If Song Ren hadn't heard the phone call, it would be hard to imagine that there was such a person in the world. Although Jin Sichin promptly resolved Lin Fan's negative emotions, but it is hard to say whether Lin Fan's emotions would be affected by Lin's mother and change if Lin Fan still could not meet her requirements when Lin's mother called next time. Everyone knew clearly that Lin Fan represented more than just herself. Behind her, the shadow of Xingchen always stood. Song Ren even saw irritability and anger on Lin Fan's face today. This had never happened before. Even when Lin Fan was covered in bruises and beaten by them without any resistance during the physical training, she never had such an expression on her face. After Song Ren left, he asked Jin Sichin. The answer he got was that such emotions could not be developed, otherwise Xingqian's stable state would likely be repeatedly broken by Lin Fan's emotions, and the unstable and even uncontrollable Xingqian would become a very dangerous thing. This was contrary to everyone's expectations, and the destructive power of Xingqian, whose standby time has reached 18 minutes. I believe Cui Yan can understand it from the weekly ability test report without him explaining it in detail. So this time, even if Cui Yan did not summon him, he still chose to take the initiative to report this situation to him. Werewolf Cui Yan is not only cruel to others, but also to himself. He will never leave work before the work of the day is completed. Deputy Director Z must have submitted the application as soon as possible, and Dr. Jin has not received the notice of the approval of the leave. This means that Cui Yan has not completed his work today and is still in the office. Song Ren knocked on the door and heard a voice coming from the door. He pressed the door handle and walked in. Cui Yan, who was working, was surprised to see Song Ren, but he could not see it from his cold face. What's the matter? He began to flip through the documents that he had not had time to process and found Lin Fan's leave application. Zibishan signed the application for Lin Fan in the afternoon and handed it to the General Affairs according to the normal process, and then the General Affairs Department handed it to the Director's office. He did not feel how urgent this matter was, so he did not call Cui Yan specifically. Anyway, with Cui Yan's efficiency, even if he did not receive the result today, he would definitely get a reply tomorrow. Song Ren explained Lin Fan's situation in detail, focusing on the new unstable factors that appeared in the evening. After Cui Yan flipped through the application, he looked at Song Ren steadily and listened to him. It was Song Ren who was able to remain calm and unaffected in the face of his cold eyes and finished the story. If it was someone else, they wouldn't even be able to finish their sentences. Jin Sichin said that Lin Fan is likely to have bipolar disorder because of the phone bombardment. After listening, Cui Yan quickly summarized the key points. Yes, Dr. Jin said that Lin Fan has shown such emotional tendencies at night and has obvious irritability. If this continues, the previous efforts may be wasted. Xingqian's condition will also become uncontrollable. Song Ren objectively relayed. Cui Yan didn't say anything, but started typing on the keyboard, searching for relevant information on the computer. After reading it carefully, even Cui Yan felt it was difficult. Jin Sichin means to give Lin Fan a holiday and let her go back for the new year. Cui Yan picked up the holiday application on the table and read it carefully. Yes, Dr. Jin said that the easiest way is to let Lin Fan go back. Her mother will naturally not continue to harass her, and there will be no negative emotional growth and various other problems later. Song Ren replied. He said this is the simplest and most direct way to deal with it. Cui Yan nodded. It was indeed the simplest. He didn't mean to detain Lin Fan for life and not let her go out, but he did not think of giving her a holiday to let her go back. After all, due to the nature of their work, the 800 people do not follow the general trend of holidays. Especially for the researchers, they will adjust their vacation time according to the progress of the project, so he did not think of Lin Fan, an on-staff member. Of course, there is also Jin Sichin. Cui Yan has been paying attention to Lin Fan's progress and strong strength. In order to include Lin Fan in his sphere of influence, he and Zhu Kunjin have fought countless times, but unfortunately they were always one step behind. At present Lin Fan is a talent and Xingqian is a treasure. He is also very happy about the development progress of Fu Guang, and the concept of the Mecha team can continue to be carried out in depth. Just now, he saw that Fu Guang had completed the debugging and was ready to close the laboratory casting machine report, and it was just signed. But Lin Fan here had a problem, and Dr. Jin also hopes that Lin Fan can get in touch with the real society to see if she can really adapt to the normal social state. Song Ren felt that this reason was equally important. I know, you go back first. Cui Yan frowned and was silent for a while, letting him leave. Song Ren didn't say much. He walked out of the office. When he looked back and closed the door, He saw Cui Yan sitting at the table with a serious expression and deep in thought. Soon after he started work the next day, Jin Sichen received a notice from Yu Guangli saying that his leave had been approved. Even Jin Sichen was specially approved to take a holiday with Lin Fan. When he went to the activity room to inform Lin Fan happily, he found that she already knew. What? You guys are also taking a holiday together? Jin Sichen's face showed a rare surprise. Yes, we all received the notice. Li Chunhua happily showed him her communicator. Sure enough, there was a holiday notice in the notification column. The gist was that Li Chunhua of Group 623 was specially approved for a holiday, hoping that he would keep in close contact with the team members during the holiday and cultivate the tacit understanding of the team. The start date and end date were at the back. The establishment of the Mecha team has been a foregone conclusion, and the tacit understanding between team members is equally important. This is also one of the reasons why the team members are arranged to eat and live together, and advance and retreat together. Compared to Lin, Song, and Li, who have been together for more than half a year, and have already established a tacit understanding, Gao Fei and Jiu, who have just joined for a month, are obviously not that familiar with everyone. And now, if they want to increase their understanding and familiarity with each other more quickly, there is nothing better than taking a trip. Song Ren, Gao Fei, and Jiu all received the same notification. They opened the communicator that Lin Fan used as a watch, and saw that there was indeed one. Jin Sichen paused, opened his own communicator, and found that there was indeed a holiday notice as well. But unlike the others, he only had the date, and no additional requirements. So the result of Cui Yan's thinking was to let everyone accompany Lin Fan on vacation and go home with her. Jin Sichen felt that this operation was a bit mysterious. But it's better to have a vacation than not. Now that Lin's mother calls again, Lin Fan doesn't have to be afraid. It's vacation. Let's go out and play. I want to go out and play too. Tickets. Come on. Chapter 130 Travel Plans. Taking a holiday, no matter what the reason, is always a happy thing. Fuguang has been improved many times, and the requirements for the driver's physical fitness have been greatly reduced. This means that the training intensity of the 5 people does not need to be as high as before. After more than a month of special training, Gao Fei and Jiu can already control Fuguang flexibly. Li Chunhua's condition is similar to when they first joined the group. Next, they just need to maintain this physical fitness and become more familiar with the operation of the Mecha. And it is impossible to let Lin Fan go back alone when she is on holiday, whether it is for Lin Fan's safety or the safety of the people around Lin Fan. As the 5 people who are most familiar with Lin Fan and have the strongest force, they can not only protect Lin Fan, but also respond to emergencies in advance to some extent and restrict her. Although Lin Fan has performed well in the past 6 months, Cui Yan still cannot be completely relieved. He still needs someone to keep an eye on Lin Fan. Simply let them take a holiday together, accompany Lin Fan to solve the problem, and then come back. Let Lin Fan get in touch with real social relationships, and it can also be done with the company of several people. In case of any situation, there will be someone to help or intervene. When Jin Sichen called Yu Guangli, he didn't avoid a few people. After knowing the reason, everyone agreed with this method. Is it okay not to continue training? Gao Fei asked worriedly. They just learned to control Fuguang flexibly, and they were afraid that it would be difficult to return to the previous state if they suddenly interrupted it. Practice when you can. If there is no chance, practice more after you come back. Anyway, there are only 20 days in total. No matter what, it can't be worse than when you first came. Song Ren was not too worried. He injured his knee and lay in bed for half a year. Later, he practiced and recovered quickly. These were not problems. Gao Fei felt a prick in his heart, but Jiu nodded in agreement. Lin Fan's matter is more important. According to Lin Fan, when she went home this time, Lin's mother should be quiet until the Chinese New Year next year, before launching another attack. This price is still worth it. I'm so envious. It would be great if we could go home too. Li Chunhua didn't think too much, but just sighed. Song Ren was about to say something to Li Chunhua, but Lin Fan spoke up unexpectedly. Sure, why not? Huh. No one understood. Lin Fan said as a matter of course, aren't there so many days off? We can split it among ourselves and stay for a few days at home, right? Everyone immediately became energetic. Is it okay? Lee Chun-hua was the most excited. Why not? Lin Fan asked curiously. You said it's a holiday, but you didn't say I have to stay at home all the time, right? I don't want to stay at home for so many days. Everyone thought of Lin's mother at the same time and couldn't help but shudder. So, everyone planned the journey. There are 6 of us in total. If we split it, 3 or 4 days per person, it seems a bit short. Lin Fan calculated that 3 or 4 days, minus the time on the road, didn't seem to be a long time. Enough. Lee Chun-hua was full of joy. Gao Fei and Ji were also very happy, and even Song Ren had a happy look on his face. They usually couldn't go back during the Chinese New Year. They didn't know how many years it had been since they could reunite with their families. Now they can go back around the new year, even if it's only for 1 day, and spend some time with their family. It's a pleasant surprise. Jin Sichin also smiled. He was an orphan, so it didn't matter where he went. But aside from these, he was also very satisfied with this arrangement. Because of her family, Lin Fan had not been able to feel the atmosphere of a normal family since she was a child, and her emotions in this regard had always been in a lacking stage. If she could be touched by the normal interactions when she went to other people's homes, it would not only moisten her dry heart, but also strengthen her courage when facing Lin's mother. Of course, it would be nice to go back to the special office, and he also missed the old guys at home. So that night, after everyone finished their meal, they gathered around a round table to discuss the itinerary plan. They arranged the order according to the distance of each person's hometown. Lee Chun-hua's hometown is in Sichuan province, closest to Guangdong, and can be reached by bus in a few hours, so it was booked as the first stop. Then it was Gao Fei. His hometown is in Guian, a third-tier small city under Jin province, south of Sichuan province. It can be reached directly by high-speed rail, so it was arranged as the second stop. It is estimated that it will take 5 or 6 days to stay in the 2 places, and it is approaching New Year's Eve. The next stop is Lin Fan's home. After all, this holiday is for her to go home for the new year. Jin province is a bit far from Lin Fan's hometown Yangcheng, so they must take a plane. Lin Fan waved his hand and covered everyone's travel expenses. How can that be possible? Song Ren was the first to jump out and object. Others also objected. Although their salaries were not as high as Lin Fan's, they were not short of money for a few flights. It's not a question of whether you are short of money. It's because this matter itself was caused by me. Isn't it natural for me to be responsible? Lin Fan insisted. Besides, I really have a lot of money. As she spoke, she opened her bank card balance and showed it to the few people. Everyone choked, not sure if she was showing off her wealth. Song Ren wanted to say more, but was stopped by Jin Sichin. Let her pay. Jin Sichin said with a smile. Have you forgotten that Lin Fan has no desire for real life? Doesn't spending money just stimulate her desire? So don't stop her, but encourage her. After all, for us, this little money is really not money. Although this sentence was well reasoned, the 800 people felt a little hurt by the money. Motivate desire with money? Jiu has also studied some psychology books recently and doesn't quite understand. It would be great if money could motivate. You see, she doesn't care about the money. In her eyes, more than 10 million in the card is no different from more than 1,000 yuan. Not to mention the salary card, even the allowance in her badge. She hasn't spent much in the past 6 months, right? Jin Sichin has been worried about this for a long time. Lin Fan doesn't spend money and doesn't want anything. When her various problems are getting better, the loss of desire is unshakable. 800 yuan has everything. There is a canteen for food and drink, clothes, and shoes are issued by the reserve team, and even sanitary products are prepared by Wu Yi. Song Ren also prepares daily necessities in a thoughtful manner. Lin Fan has no chance to spend money at 800 yuan, which is one of the reasons why Jin Sichin strongly wants her to go out. Only outside can she have the opportunity to spend money, and Lin Fan's current income level doesn't care how much she spends, but she is afraid that she won't spend it. So it's a good thing that she wants to spend money. Don't stop her. If she wants to spend, let her spend. Not only can't stop her, you should also encourage her to buy more and spend more, so that she can recover her normal desires as soon as possible. Jin Sichin said to everyone with a smile. Everyone thought about it. It seemed to be so. Lin Fan's desires were so thin that they could be said to be pure and without desires. According to Jin Sichin, this is indeed not good. Recalling the first time Lin Fan knew that there were more than 10 million in her card, her expression was indeed not excited at all. Even Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei, who were watching, were more excited than her. This was not normal. There is so much money in her card. Even if you cover all your food and accommodation and stay in a 5-star hotel every day, you can't spend it all. This month's salary has not been paid yet. Jin Sichin said again. Don't feel burdened by spending her money, just treat it as a necessary process to help her recover. Several people looked at each other, and finally Song Ren nodded first. Okay, since Jin Sichin said so, they will cooperate. We can make up for it when we have the chance in the future. So, in addition to protecting Lin Fan, they also had to help supervise her spending more money. Such a request is really unprecedented. Several people smiled bitterly and accepted the task and continued to discuss with mixed feelings. We are going out to play. Lin Saheo will pay for everything. I also want to be so generous. Remember to give me some money. Chapter 131 Departure. Although Lin Fan's hometown is a small 4th-tier city, it unexpectedly has an international airport, and there is a direct flight from Guyane. The airport bus can reach the city center in an hour and a half. Another taxi will take more than 10 minutes to Lin Fan's home. Lin Fan plans to go back first. He left in a hurry, and his clothes are still on the balcony. It has been half a year. Wait until the morning of New Year's Eve to go to Gaoshi, and then stay in Gaoshi with Lin's father and mother until they leave on the second day of the new year. Then go to Ji-Yu's house. He is from Gao, and it is very convenient to drive or take the high-speed rail. It only takes more than 3 hours. Stay in Gao for 3 or 5 days, so that Ji-Yu can go home for a reunion. Jin Sichin can also go back to the Special Affairs Office to see his colleagues. Dr. Jin, can we go to the Special Affairs Office? Lee Chun-ho asked suddenly. Sure. Jin Sichin replied readily. I will greet the director in advance and take you around the non-confidential area. The few people who were curious about the Special Affairs Office were very happy, and even Song Ren had some yearning in his heart. After Gao, the only place left to go was Song Ren's hometown. He is a northern man, and his hometown is in Harbin. He also has to take a plane to get there. This time, the few people did not bother about the cost. Song Ren's home is in the center of Harbin, and there is also an airport bus that goes directly to the city. After getting off the plane, then transfer to the subway and you will arrive in a few stops. Along the way, each place is scheduled to stay for 3 days. Jin Sichin and Ji-Yu for a total of 5 days, a total of 17 days. It was just within the holiday time, and there was still some time left. The happy mood continued, and it didn't disappear for a long time. After lying on the bed, it had been a long time since the lights were turned off, and Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei were still happily discussing the characteristics of their hometowns. Ji-Yu lay on his side in the quilt and listened quietly, thinking that his parents would be very happy to know that he could go home for the new year. Song Ren also supported his arms and pillowed his head, looking at the ceiling with unfocused eyes, listening to their chattering and thinking of his parents. Although the holiday was confirmed, it was not a matter of leaving. The next day they went to the laboratory and office building to confirm the handover of work. The lab was preparing for the closure. Knowing that the few people were going to go home for the holiday, everyone was envious. After confirming that there was no unfinished work, they were asked to sign and leave. That afternoon, the 623 laboratory was officially closed, and the new Mecha casting project was officially launched. There was no special work in the office building. Dr. Zio helped the few people to do a full body checkup so that they could go home healthy. After Xingchen stabilized, the work of the medical trio was greatly reduced, and they were bored. They took the initiative to take on the medical examination of the driving team. After lunch, the few people had the last physical training before the holiday in the afternoon. When they thought everything was going well, Jin Sichin's phone suddenly came in. I have to leave first. Jin Sichin seemed to be in a hurry, and there was a sound of the car door closing. The special affairs office has urgent matters. I have to rush back. I can't go with you. Sorry. The notice from the special affairs office was urgent, and the matter was not small. Jin Sichin's talent needed to be used, and he had no way to delay. Compared with accompanying the stable Lin Fan home, the special affairs office's matters were obviously more urgent. He didn't even have time to say goodbye to Lin Fan face to face. The car of the special affairs office had already driven in to pick him up. Lin Fan didn't know what to say for a moment, and quickly organized her words to warn, "Be careful." She remembered Jin Sichin said that there would be casualties when going on a mission. If Jin Sichin had to go out, it must not be a small mission. "I know, don't worry." Jin Sichin smiled. "If it's completed quickly, I can still find you. If it's slow, I'll come back and see you. Anyway, you don't have to wait for me, just have fun." Several people were a little worried when they heard Jin Sichin say this. They had all heard about the magical powers of the special affairs office, and they had also experienced Jin Sichin's talent personally. The vacation is expected to be 17 days. If Jin Sichin can't come back for such a long time, then this is a big trouble. It's not as troublesome as you think, it just takes time to go to many places. Jin Sichin guessed what these people were thinking on the other end of the phone. "Don't worry, I'm sure I'll be fine. You have to keep an eye on Lin Fan and let her go shopping. She's a rich woman. It would be a waste if we didn't rip her off." He pretended to be relaxed and said, "I'll call you when I'm free. Don't worry. Trust me, it's okay." Jin Sichin assured them several times, and finally made them feel more at ease. Because of this accident, their training that was about to end was interrupted. Also because they had a holiday tomorrow, they were a little impatient and couldn't help themselves. Anyway, it wouldn't be much different. Song Ren didn't hold everyone back and simply finished up early and went back to pack their luggage. Gao Fei and Jiu's luggage was ready and they were carried over more than a month ago. They just had to pick out a few sets of casual clothes that they could wear during this period and stuff them into their bags. Song Ren and Lee Chun-ho went to the dormitory of the reserve team. Although they came to the villa area, the dormitory of the reserve team was still there. Their casual clothes were also left there. When they finished packing and went to see Lin Fan, they suddenly found that she hadn't packed anything. Lin Fan has no clothes. Lee Chun-ho slapped her head. He suddenly remembered that when Lin Fan entered 800, he only brought 3 sets of clothes, all of which were t-shirts and shorts. 2 t-shirts were torn because of the transformation. Even if they were not torn, it was impossible for Lin Fan to go out in summer clothes in this cold winter. Although the uniforms of the reserve team did not have any obvious signs, they were standardized after all, which would make people think of the military, so it was better not to wear them outside. "We should buy clothes for Lin Fan first," Gao Fei suggested, remembering Jin Sichin's task of buying. "Go to the comprehensive building?" Jiu asked. 800 has a comprehensive building, which combines shopping malls, entertainment centers and other functions. Although it cannot be compared with the shopping malls outside, it has normal clothes and daily necessities, which can meet the normal life needs of 800 employees. Song Ren hesitated for a moment and did not agree. "I remember there are 2 large shopping malls next to the long distance bus station in Gwangan. Before going there to catch the bus tomorrow, go there to buy clothes for Lin Fan to change." "That's fine." Lee Chun-ho also agreed. The clothes in the comprehensive building don't have as many choices as those in the shopping malls outside. Just go outside and buy the latest ones, leave early, and don't delay the ride. Gao Fei and Jiu nodded. The clothes in the comprehensive building are indeed not that fashionable. Girls should buy clothes that look good. After the discussion, they didn't bother about the clothes anymore. After making an appointment with the logistics department for the car tomorrow, they went to the cafeteria to have dinner together. Then they went to bed early. The next day, they got up early again. Because they had to hurry, they didn't do morning exercises. After breakfast, they took the tram to the sentry post. The reserved car was already parked on the side and waiting. They took out the documents, registered in detail, and got on the car. There was a driver in the car who took them to their destination and then drove back. Lin Fan leaned against the car window, watching the car slowly start and leave the isolation net, remembering the scene when she first came. Half a year had passed unknowingly, and she thought she would never be able to leave 800 again, but she didn't expect to leave so easily. Fortunately, she is still alive. Jin Sichin had something to do and couldn't go with them. Well, what a pity. Everyone remember to vote. Chapter 132 Pink Girl Style. The departure date was 8 days before New Year's Eve. After the logistics department's car dropped off the group at the square station, it quietly merged into the traffic and soon disappeared. Lin Fan, who was visiting Wangan for the first time, looked around. They were standing in the square in front of the long-distance bus station. The entrance of the station was not that big, with 3 large red signs of Wangan Station on it. The transparent floor-to-ceiling glass windows showed that there were not many people queuing to buy tickets in the ticket hall. More people hurriedly gathered in another direction and swarmed into a more magnificent building. There was also a sign of Gwangan Station there. That's also Gwangan Station? Lin Fan looked around. Why are there 2 Gwangan stations so close? Where should they go? That's Gwangan Railway Station. We don't take the high-speed rail, so we don't need to go there. Gao Fei always took the high-speed rail to the flight base and was familiar with the place. Just take the bus to my house and go to the long-distance bus station next to it. This is how Lee Chun-ho went when she went home to visit her relatives half a year ago. He led everyone in with familiarity. Now many cities have built passenger stations and railway stations together to form a transportation hub for convenient transfers. Gu felt that this measure was very beneficial to the people. There should be a bus station next to it. Whether it is locals or outsiders, it is very convenient to travel. Lin Fan did not see the bus station in the empty square, but she felt that Gu was right. Gao has a larger transportation hub, which not only has a bus station, but also a subway station, and thousands of people shuttle through it every day. Convenient transportation is one of the signs of a city's prosperity. Obviously, Gwangan has reached such a standard. Everyone followed Lee Chun-ho to the window to line up, 2 people in front and back, sandwiching Lin Fan in the middle. Compared with the passengers rushing home with large and small bags, the 4 people who were lightly equipped, and each with a backpack were particularly eye-catching. Especially their upright posture, tall stature, good temperament, and they were all handsome guys. Everyone who saw them wondered in their hearts whether they were military personnel. It can't be said that people made unwarranted associations. Didn't they see that the woman sandwiched between them was wearing a uniform? Although it was not common, it was obviously the same system as the military uniform. The military uniforms are really good looking. Lin Fan wore a thick coat from the reserve team inside and a long coat outside to block the wind. The navy blue tweed is crisp, slim fitting, and reaches the calf. The collar is still a thick black fur collar. The front placket has a row of fine buttons, which fully reflects the style of the military. Lin Fan has lost weight now, and he looks energetic and good in it. Even though his temperament is obviously different from that of the others, it is indeed easy for people to associate with it. After seeing the clothes, many people found something strange. Why didn't the woman come with a backpack? Lin Fan put his hands in his pockets and moved slowly with the flow of people. This time, she only brought a few things. A driver's license with an ID card, house keys, a mobile phone, a water cup, a towel and a toothbrush, 2 pieces of underwear, and a dirty bedsheet. Because everyone brought several charging cables and power banks, she just threw them in the dormitory. She didn't have any clothes, and she was going to buy them at the mall. She didn't have a backpack or a luggage bag either. When she first entered the 800 yuan market, she only brought a red advertising bag with her, so naturally she couldn't take more. Of these things, only the bedsheet took up a little weight. Except for the cell phone and driver's license in her own pocket, she stuffed everything else into Song Ren's backpack and asked him to keep it. Lee Chun-ho asked about the ticket time. There was a bus to his hometown at 1:30 in the afternoon, and it would not arrive until after 5 o'clock at the latest. They bought the tickets without hesitation. Just in time to have dinner when I get home. Lee Chun-ho put away the ticket and said happily, "Are you sure you can have dinner when you get home?" Gao Fei also put away his ticket and complained, They had informed their families in advance about going home, but Lee Chun-hua said that she wanted to give her family a surprise, but she refused to tell them. Gao Fei seriously doubted what time he would have dinner today. Okay, put away the tickets. Now we have plenty of time. Just go to the mall and buy some clothes for Lin Fan. Song Ren put away his and Lin Fan's tickets together. He found that Lin Fan's uniform attracted a lot of attention. Some people even took out their phones to take pictures. He urged. After he reminded others, they also noticed the situation. Several people gathered around Lin Fan tacitly, surrounded her in the middle, and blocked her vaguely. Opposite the station, across an 8-lane main road, there is a large shopping mall. Several people followed the instructions and went through the underground passage. They unexpectedly found that there were many small shops below, and even the bus station was below. They quickly entered the mall and began the task of buying new clothes for Lin Fan. As soon as they entered the women's clothing floor, Lee Chun-hua happily rushed into the nearest store and looked around. It was as if he was the one who wanted to buy clothes. How about this one? He picked up a pink down jacket. Lin Fan sat on the bench, speechless. The down jacket Lee Chun-hua took was a fluorescent pink one, not only pure in color, but also extremely bright. As a result, the dark-skinned Lee Chun-hua looked even darker when she took the clothes in her hand. Although Lin Fan had fair skin, because he rarely went outdoors, he couldn't stand such a bright color. Moreover, why did he choose pink? Aren't the beige, coffee, and blue colors next to it good? Don't you like it? It's okay. If you don't like it, we can look at other ones. There are many stores. Lee Chun-hua saw Lin Fan's tangled expression and thought she didn't like this brand. She hung the clothes back neatly and ran out first. Brother Lee. Gao Fei wanted to call him, but was pulled over by Lee Chun-hua and entered a women's clothing store with a girlish style. Does he like shopping? Lin Fan felt that Lee Chun-hua was like a young swallow in the arms when she entered the mall and asked Song Ren in confusion. No, Song Ren was not sure. After all, he and Lee Chun-hua were only familiar with each other in the past 6 months. He didn't have the opportunity to learn about this aspect before. Gu used to accompany his mother to the mall to buy clothes, but he was never as excited as Lee Chun-hua. Looking at Gao Fei who was at a loss, Lin Fan sighed and hurried in to save him. For some reason, Lee Chun-hua seemed to have a special preference for girlish style and pink. Not only Lin Fan himself could not accept it, but the other three also looked at him strangely. Lin Fan was already 36 years old, and he was not a childlike person. Was it really appropriate to wear pink clothes with lace? Why must it be pink? Lin Fan really couldn't understand. Don't girls like pink? My wife likes this style. I used to go shopping for clothes with her in this style. Lee Chun-hua said as a matter of course, if I had a daughter, I would also like to dress her up in pink. Lin Fan fell backwards and finally knew the reason. I didn't expect Lee Chun-hua to be a good man who loved his wife, but this aesthetic was really too biased. She said helplessly, who said that girls like pink? If that's the case, who would we sell all the clothes of other colors in the store to? Lee Chun-hua was stunned and couldn't react for a while. He looked around and suddenly realized that there were many more clothes of other colors than pink. Right, who are you going to sell those colors to? Lee Chun-hua, come back and let Lin Fan choose for himself. Song Ren finally spoke up to stop Lee Chun-hua's jumping behavior. If this continues, Lin Fan doesn't know when he can buy clothes. It's almost 11 o'clock and lunch is needed. There is not much time for Lee Chun-hua to waste. Many boys think that girls should like pink, right? Well, Lee Chun-hua is a warm man who loves his wife. Give him some votes. Chapter 133 Seafood Buffet. Lin Fan had no desire to shop, but her aesthetic taste was online. She found a relatively well-known casual brand and bought a whole outfit from inside to outside, including a mid-length cotton coat, and replaced the standard long windbreaker on the spot. Underwear must be washed before wearing. Lin Fan, who has a slight obsession with cleanliness, asked Lee Chun-hua if there was a washing machine at home, and there was a heated kang in the house, so the clothes could dry overnight, and then she only changed into a coat. The uniform inside was covered by the new cotton coat, and there was no clue. That's it? Song Ren was puzzled. He also went shopping with his girlfriend. He had never seen a woman who bought clothes so quickly. Lin Fan didn't even try it on. After entering the store, he liked the style and color and directly took his own size. He didn't even open the package and ran to the shopping counter to line up. Oh, I should buy 2 sets of changes. Lin Fan ran back again and took another set of different colors on the same way. Gao Fei and Gu had never had a girlfriend, but they just felt that Lin Fan's shopping for clothes was different from their general perception. They wouldn't buy clothes so quickly anyway. Lee Chun-ho was even more confused. Does this color look good? Beige and black, don't they look good? Girls wear them? Lin Fan didn't bother to pay attention to him and queued up to check out. After coming out of the store, Song Ren asked again, do you want to buy shoes? The mall was full of people buying New Year's goods, and most of them changed from head to toe. Lin Fan looked at the warm boots on her feet and felt good. No one should pay attention to the shoes, right? If it's not necessary, then don't buy shoes. I feel that these shoes are more comfortable than those sold outside. The performance of the military's clothes must be top notch, and the things sold outside are definitely incomparable. Song Ren didn't continue to persuade her, but suggested that she buy a bag or a suitcase. The journey would last several days, and the shopping bag in her hand alone could not support the long distance journey. Forget about the suitcase, I have one at home, so buy a handbag. Lin Fan thought it was right, and bought a small travel bag at lightning speed. After putting all the clothes in her hand, there was still a little space, just enough to stuff into her bed sheets. Okay, let's go eat. Lin Fan clapped his hands, rolled up his sleeves, and looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. Several people thought of Jin Sichin's shopping mission, and it seemed to be accomplished, but it didn't feel real. At meal times in shopping malls, there are always many people queuing up to eat. Several people walked around and found that most restaurants were crowded. If they waited for a seat, they might not be able to catch the bus. The bus was about to leave in an hour and a half, so they had to hurry up. Why don't we go to the underground passage of the station to eat? I see there is a row of snack bars over there. Gao Fei suggested. It was a row of open-air snack bars, just behind the bus stop. There were noodles, braised chicken rice, etc. There were many varieties, convenient and affordable. Lin Fan saw it too, but she felt it was too cold there. Especially when customers came in and out, a gust of cold wind would rush in as soon as the door was opened, and the experience of eating inside would not be very good. There's no one in that restaurant, she shouted when she saw a restaurant with no waiting tables at the door. Everyone looked in the direction she pointed and saw a waiter enthusiastically soliciting customers in front of a luxuriously decorated storefront. But for some reason, even if the passers-by stopped and looked at the menu, they would shake their heads and leave. Is it not delicious? Lee Chun-ho asked curiously. Normally, a restaurant opened in a large shopping mall cannot be that bad. That's not the case. It's a high-end buffet restaurant, a chain brand in the south, specializing in seafood buffet. Gu had seen that brand in the Gao shopping mall and had a rough idea of what it was like. Seafood? Gao Fei was surprised. It's almost the new year now, and there are still seafood? Yes, it's airlifted from the south. The quality and quantity are guaranteed, and the freshness and taste are authentic. Gu said. Then why is no one going in? Lee Chun-ho was puzzled. Is it because it's expensive? Gao Fei reacted. It would be strange if seafood ingredients airlifted from the south in the middle of winter were not expensive. The waiter outside also saw the 5 of them looking at their own store for a while and walked up quickly to promote it. Everyone, we are having a promotion today, and all customers who enter the store can enjoy a 15% discount. Do you want to try it? What's the 15% discount? Lin Fan flipped through the menu. The dazzling array of seafood photos was indeed attractive. Lee Chun-ho and Gao Fei had never seen it before, so they also gathered around to look. Gu knew the prices, so he stood at the back and didn't join in the fun. He waited until they turned to the end and then stepped back. Seeing that several people were quite interested, the waiter did his best to write out the introduction. Lee and Gao, who were itching to try, jumped away in fear when they saw the last page, the price of 1,200 yuan per person. No wonder no one came in. Who can afford this price? You know, Guangdong has just been included in the list of third-tier cities. Lin Fan was also shocked when she saw it. She had eaten a meal of 1,200 yuan, but she had never tried this price for a single person. After all, with her salary at that time, such consumption was considered a luxury. Lin Fan, forget it, it's the same if we eat other things. Li Chunhua pulled Lin Fan's sleeve and wanted to pull her away quickly. Gao Fei thought of Jin Sichen's task, but he felt that the price was too high and he couldn't say it out loud. A meal for 5 people costs 6,000. No matter how rich Lin Fan is, he didn't get it from the wind. Can he spend it like this? The waiter saw that several people began to retreat and thought that he would fail again this time. But he couldn't leave before they left. So he put on a smile and waited for the guests who were still standing in front of the menu in deep thought to make a decision. Is it delicious? Lin Fan turned around and asked Gu. She remembered how much money she had on her card and was not worried about the price. Didn't Jin Sichen let her spend it? Then she would follow the doctor's advice. Gu was stunned. He had never been in to eat, so how could he know? The waiter saw that there was a chance and smiled more. She saw that the woman in front of her was the decision maker and didn't dare to urge her at all. Lin Fan looked at Song Ren again. Not bad. Song Ren would go to such an expensive store because his ex-girlfriend wanted to come. Okay, let's eat. Lin Fan looked at the time. It was already past 12 o'clock and he didn't want to delay any longer. The buffet will be served soon, so you don't have to wait. The waiter was very happy and led the way in front of them, leading them into the restaurant. Lin Fan took the lead, followed by Song Ren. Gu was stunned for a moment and followed. Gao Fei and Li Chunhua looked at each other for a few seconds, thought about Lin Fan's account balance, convinced themselves not to care too much, and quickly followed. The environment of the high-end restaurant is really good. I don't know if it's because of the high price. There are no other customers inside. After Lin Fan and his group entered, they felt a meticulous service. Is the service industry at this standard now? She asked in confusion. Seeing a group of waiters pouring water, wiping towels, putting bags for them, and putting protective covers on coats. Lin Fan seriously suspected that the store had been idle because there were no customers. However, because of her illness, she had not eaten out for several years. I wonder if this is popular now. That's not the case. They are famous for their attentive service. Gu wiped his hands and answered Lin Fan. Other stores can't compare with them. Is it because it's expensive? Li Chunhua curled her lips. It's so expensive for one person. The service can't be bad. His salary is not low. It's not that he can't afford the head fee, but he just feels it's unnecessary. The few of them didn't say much and quickly got up to get the food to solve the lunch problem. After a full meal, the waiter was called to pay the bill. When he saw the 4 big men motionless and the only woman took out her bank card, a smile froze. When the waiter walked away, Li Chunhua muttered to Gao Fei, why do I feel that there is contempt in his eyes? Gao Fei lowered his head. You are not wrong. He must think we are gigolos. Li Chunhua wanted to refute, but after thinking about it, it seemed that there was no way to refute. Looking at Song Ren and Gu who looked calm, and Lin Fan who was unaware of anything, he scratched his head in frustration. What can I do? Have you ever eaten seafood buffet? My friend treated me to it. It was 102 per person with a discount, but I had diarrhea that day and didn't dare to eat anything. 555. What a waste. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 134. Li Chunhua was fooled. Li Chunhua's distress was soon diluted by the feeling of returning home after he boarded the bus home. His home is in a new rural village near the county town of Guang'an. It only takes 4 hours for the bus to go directly to the county town, then take a minibus to the village and walk a distance. Li Chunhua actually had a holiday half a year ago. If he followed the normal holiday cycle, he would have to wait at least half a year before he could take a holiday. So he was particularly surprised by this unexpected annual leave. In order to give his family a surprise, he did not notify them in advance. His family built a house by himself and has 3 permanent residents, his father, mother and newlywed wife. His parents are in their 50s and are still farming, and his wife works in the county town not far away. Li Chunhua bought her a scooter, which is 20 minutes one way, not far. When they arrived at the county station, it was already dark and the street lights were lit one by one. Lee Chun-ho excitedly took a few people to the minibus station, but they waited for half an hour, but no car came. Although several people were dressed warmly, it was a bit unbearable to be outside in the winter wind. Especially Lin Fan, who huddled in her newly bought cotton padded jacket and kept stamping her feet. Song Ren, Gao Fei and Ji all crowded around her to help her block the wind. Hey, don't wait, the minibus broke down. Or three-wheeled vehicle stopped in front of the few people, and the driver said in Mandarin with a dialect accent. Broken down. How did it break down? Lee Chun-ho asked hurriedly. Although Lin Fan did not complain out loud, Lee Chun-ho was anxious and embarrassed when she saw her condition. The departure time of the bus at the county station is not so accurate, but it usually runs every 20 minutes or so. This time, it took a long time to wait. Could something really have gone wrong? It crashed. Two cars collided. Seeing that Lee Chun-ho was a local, the driver replied in dialect. What? Two cars on the same bus collided. Lee Chun-ho widened her eyes. Yes, we crashed at the station and can't get out at all. The driver smiled. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Don't wait. It's so cold. Girls can't stand it. Lee Chun-ho didn't quite believe what this person said, but when she saw Lin Fan behind her, she stopped worrying. At least the three-wheeled motorcycle has a shed. He is a local, and he won't be cheated to take a long detour. Dali Village, how much? 5 people. The driver smiled even more when he heard that there was business. 5 people. Lee Chun-ho bargained with the driver and quickly agreed on the price, letting several people get on the car quickly. What's going on? Lin Fan asked. Aren't we taking a minibus? Lin Fan had been cheated by black cars before, so he was a little unsure about this mode of transportation. It is said that the car crashed and can't be repaired for a while. There will be no car behind. Lee Chun-ho explained. It is said that there should be a bus every 20 minutes, but it's been more than 40 minutes. It's too cold. I won't wait. Everyone quickly got into the cloak. Lin Fan sat with his back against the driver, and the other 4 sat on the side facing each other in pairs. The tricycle started quickly and drove quite fast. With the shed to block the wind, it was not that cold. How long will it take to get to your house? Gao Fei asked. It was getting darker and darker, and there were fewer street lights on the road far away from the county. Buildings and trees only left dark shadows in the night. About 10 or 20 minutes. Lee Chun-ho was not sure, and he had never taken a three-wheeled vehicle. Usually the bus takes about 20 minutes. Although the three-wheeled vehicle is slower, it does not stop along the way, so the time should be about the same. There were no lights in the shed, and there were no street lights outside. Lee Chun-ho kept looking for some topics to ease the current embarrassment. Lin Fan suddenly asked, did we wait for bus number 12 before? Yes, what's wrong? Lee Chun-ho was stunned and looked at Lin Fan. In the darkness, everyone's faces were vaguely visible. Here, look behind. Lin Fan was facing the back and found the minibus with lights on it the first time. When they looked back, they could only see that it was a minibus, and they couldn't see the number on the license plate. Even Song Ren, who had the best eyesight, couldn't see it clearly. Is Lin Fan's eyesight so good? Several people thought to themselves. After waiting for a while, the minibus caught up. It was indeed bus number 12. The bright carriage was empty, and it passed the three-wheeled vehicle with a swish. The group looked at Lee Chun-ho silently. Didn't they say there were no cars? It was only a few minutes ago. The three-wheeled vehicle had no lights and was shaking violently. Although it could block some wind, the riding experience was not good. I thought there were no minibuses, so I just had to make do. But the minibus just passed by like this. Lee Chun-ho's face instantly burned up, and he asked loudly, Master, didn't you say the car was broken, and there was no car? The smiling voice of the master in front came through the shed. Oh, then it must have been repaired. You can't just let someone fix it. Lee Chun-ho choked. He was fooled. He was fooled by the locals in his hometown. His face was hot, and he was about to lose his temper, but Lin Fan persuaded him to stay. Forget it, we are already on the bus, and we have to wait for the bus when we get off, so we might as well just sit here. It was the first time he brought a colleague home, but he acted so badly. As soon as he got off the bus, Lee Chun-ho felt embarrassed and covered his face with his hands, unwilling to let go for a long time. "Hey, Lee Chun-ho," Lin Fan called him. "There are so many of us, can your house accommodate us?" Lee Chun-ho realized that Lin Fan was trying to help him out, so he didn't act too hypocritical, rubbed his face and replied, "Yes, we can accommodate us. We have a kang at home, a big bunk bed, which can accommodate 10 people in a row, and there are 2 rooms. Do they have kangs in Sichuan province?" Gu suddenly said. "Why do I remember that they don't have kangs here? We are in the north, and the terrain is relatively flat. We are not in a basin, so it's cold in winter." Lee Chun-ho explained. "I haven't slept on a kang yet." Lin Fan was a little curious. "Neither do I. Gao Fen's family lives in the south, where it may not even snow, let alone a kang." "Neither do I. Gu was born and raised in Gao. The temperature in the coastal area is 2 or 3 degrees higher than inland in winter." Everyone looked at Song Ren, who was a genuine northerner. "I have slept on a kang, but not at home. Our family lives in the city, and we have heating in winter," Song Ren said. The few of them chatted and laughed in the dark, and soon arrived at the entrance of the village. The driver was unwilling to take them in, and Lee Chun-ho didn't want to waste any more time, so she gave him money and sent him away quickly. The group walked towards the village under the stars and moon, and when they passed by other people's yards, they would always attract the barking of the dogs of that household. After walking about 700 or 800 meters, they arrived at a small courtyard with a light on at the door. Because it was dark, they couldn't see the whole picture, but they could see that the door frame was covered with vermilion tiles, and on the red double opening iron door, there were 2 door gods, staring at the people outside the door with a look of embarrassment. Lee Chun-ho went up and knocked on the door. "Where are your keys?" Gao Fei asked curiously. "Don't most people take out their own keys to open the door when they go home? Normally, there are people at home, so I don't need to bring my keys." Lee Chun-ho saw no response from inside and continued to take pictures. "Who is it?" There was a sound of a door opening in the yard, and then the lights came on, and a thick middle-aged male voice asked, "It's me, Dad, I'm back." Lee Chun-ho replied loudly. "Who is he?" The male voice was stunned for a moment and hesitated. "It's me, Dad, open the door quickly, I brought my friends back." At this time, Lee Chun-ho suddenly felt that not bringing the key was not a good thing. "Why did I hear Who is he's voice?" A middle-aged female voice came from the yard again. "Mom, it's me, let Dad open the door quickly, several of my friends are freezing." Lee Chun-ho was even more excited when he heard his mother's voice. "Quick, quick, old man, Who is he is back, open the door quickly." After a burst of urging, footsteps quickly approached, and the iron door opened from the inside. "Dad." Lee Chun-ho saw her old father whom she hadn't seen for half a year, and hugged him excitedly. "Who is he?" A simple middle-aged woman also appeared behind the door, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Mom." Lee Chun-ho also gave him a big bear hug. "Where's Mio?" He looked up and saw a person standing at the door of the main room. She was holding the door with one hand, standing on the steps, and did not come down, looking at him and smiling. It was his childhood sweetheart, his newlywed wife, Mio. Lee Chun-ho is a big fool. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 135 The Lee Family. As soon as Lee Chun-ho saw his young wife, he immediately rushed to her. Lee's mother was shocked. "Don't rush." Lee's father also turned around to stop him, but he was no faster than him. Lin Fan and others were temporarily forgotten, and they didn't rush to disturb them. They stood quietly outside the door and waited. Seeing Lee Chun-ho rushing to the steps in a few steps, she was about to hug Mio. But at this moment, Mio took 2 steps back, avoiding the goodwill of her husband who had not seen her for half a year. Lee Chun-ho's excitement was in vain, and she stood there at a loss for a moment. Lee's father and mother rushed over at this time, and hung Lee Chun-ho's arms. Lee's mother's voice was nervous. "You can't rush Mio like this. Don't you look at her body?" "What body?" Lee Chun-ho looked at his wife in the house and suddenly shouted, "Why is your belly so big?" In the quiet village late at night, Lee Chun-ho's voice was heard far away, startling many dogs barking. Lin Fan and others heard this outside and wanted to cover their faces. Lee Chun-ho is a guy who is really smart when he is smart and really stupid when he is stupid. The joy that Lee's father had when he first saw his son disappeared all of a sudden, and he raised his hand and hit Lee Chun-ho on the back of his head. "What are you talking about? My Omio is pregnant with your baby." It was like Lee Chun-ho didn't tell her family when she came back and wanted to give them a surprise. The family didn't tell Lee Chun-ho about Shimio's pregnancy, and they also wanted to give him a surprise. According to Shimio's words, when he comes back from vacation next year and sees an extra baby, I don't know what kind of expression he will have. Mother Lee quickly grabbed the old man, and Lee Chun-ho also covered his head with both hands, saying aggrievedly, I know it. You know shit. People who don't know what you said would think. Father Lee didn't say anything else and pointed at Lee Chun-ho and glared at him fiercely. My oh, he's a bad mouth. Don't worry about it. I'm not angry. Dad, don't be angry either. Shimio smiled and took 2 steps outside. Brother Huazi has been like this since he was a child. How could we not know him? My oh, you should go back to the house quickly. It's so cold. Take care of yourself. Mother Lee hurried forward, wanting to help her daughter-in-law go back, and didn't care about her stupid son. Mom, don't worry. Shimio slowly pressed her mother-in-law's hand. Didn't Brother Huazi say that he had friends coming back with him? Where are the guests? Ah, yes. The family remembered that there was someone outside the door. Lee Chun-ho took 2 steps to the door, turned back and told Mother Lee, Mom, take my oh to the inner room first. I'll take people in now. Don't stand at the door and get cold. Shimio smiled and followed Mother Lee in. Father Lee had already opened the courtyard door and saw 3 tall guys standing outside, about the same height as his son, surrounding a slightly shorter person in the middle. Hello, uncle. Everyone knew that this must be Lee Chun-ho's father, and they greeted him politely. Hey, come in, it's cold outside. It was also the first time that Lee's father saw his son's colleagues come to his house. At first glance, they were all handsome young men, so he was very excited and kept asking people to come in. Lee Chun-ho also arrived, so he quickly let a few people in. A few people entered the yard, waited for Lee's father to close a yard door, and went into the house together. The house was really warm. Lin Fan had been freezing outside for too long and couldn't help shivering. Song Ren and Ji Yu saw it, and Shimio, who was waiting in the inner room, also saw it. She didn't expect that there was a woman among the colleagues Lee Chun-ho brought home. She was stunned for a moment, but didn't think much about it, and whispered to Lee's mother, Mom, do we have enough hot water at home? I see that girl, she is freezing outside. After being reminded by her daughter-in-law, Lee's mother found that the girl's face was a little bad and her nose was red. Go and prepare it quickly. The few people didn't stay in the main hall for long and were led directly to the east wing by Lin's father. Come on, put down your bags first. It must be heavy to carry all the way, right? This little weight was nothing to the few people. Lin Fan, the only one who felt burdened, had his handbag shared by others. Because of the luxurious buffet at noon, they always felt guilty if they didn't do something for Lin Fan. Lin Fan was also happy to relax, so he put his hands in his pockets and just walked. At this time, he really had a bit of young lady meaning. Dad, Mom, my Omio, let me introduce you. This is the god of war Song Ren I have been talking about to you. Lee Chun-ho said happily, he is my leader now. I have been transferred to his subordinates for half a year. He takes good care of me on weekdays. Boss, this is my dad, my mom, and my wife Shimio. When he introduced his wife at the end, he suddenly felt embarrassed. Uncle, aunt, comrade Shimio. Song Ren greeted everyone with a smile. Leader Song, thank you for taking care of our Huazi. The leader that Lee's father often sees is the village chief. He was a little at a loss when he saw Song Ren at first. Uncle, you are too polite. Lee Chun-ho has performed well and doesn't need me to take care of her. Song Ren was telling the truth. Lee Chun-ho has strong abilities, but her personality is sometimes a little eccentric, but it's harmless. This is. When it was Lin Fan's turn, Lee Chun-ho was stuck. How should Lin Fan introduce himself? A leader, or not a leader? Hello, uncle and aunt. Hello Shimaro, I'm Lin Fan who is under Captain Song and trained with Lee Chun-hua. I'm sorry to disturb you by visiting you rashly. Lin Fan introduced himself with a smile, solving Lee Chun-hua's problem. Such social etiquette is not difficult for Lin Fan. After all, when she worked in Gao, she dealt with many customers. Don't bother me, just treat it as your own home. Lee's father said with a smile. It has been a long time since I saw so many people at home. At this time of year in previous years, other children would come back to celebrate the new year, but Lee Chun-hua could never come back. The family can understand, and the village will also send condolences. But they were still a little upset. They thought this year would be the same as usual, but they didn't expect their son to come back and bring so many boys and girls with him. Dad and Mom Lee were so happy. This girl is so pretty. Mom Lee stepped forward and held Lin Fan's hand enthusiastically. Oh, your hands are so cold. Come on, warm up on the Kang. The moment Mom Lee's hand came up, Lin Fan felt uncomfortable. But she looked at Mom Lee's warm smile and forced herself not to shake it off. She smiled stiffly and let her drag her to sit on the Kang. It wasn't until a cup of hot tea was stuffed into her hand that her mind returned to normal. She looked up and saw Shimaro. She was keeping a comfortable distance from her and smiling at her. Shimaro noticed Lin Fan's discomfort at the first time. Although she didn't understand why, she quickly poured tea to help her out. Shimaro looked very young, like a student who had just graduated from school, and like a girl next door. She couldn't be said to be particularly beautiful, but she just made people feel comfortable. She always looks at you with a smile, listens to everyone quietly, the dimples at the corners of her mouth make people feel happy, and her voice is also gentle. Thank you. Lin Fan thinks Lee Chun-hua's wife is a wonderful person, and Lee Chun-hua is a treasure. Shimaro smiled and lowered her head embarrassedly. Because of the interruption of Lin Fan's cold hands, the Lee family quickly asked everyone to warm up on the Kang first. Lin Fan and Song Ren sat in the innermost. Next to Song Ren sat Lee's father, and next to Lin Fan sat Gao Fei and Jiu. Shimaro had a big belly and leaned on the cabinet at the back, next to Lee's father. Lee Chun-hua sat on the Kang next to his wife on one side and Lee's mother on the other, with a cup of hot tea in each hand. Gao Fei and Jiu also briefly introduced themselves and were welcomed by the Lee family. Mom, is there anything to eat at home? We haven't had dinner yet. When the atmosphere was just right, Lee Chun-hua remembered the business. Oh, why didn't you say it earlier? Lee's mother slapped her thigh. It's so dark, it's almost 8 o'clock, and you haven't eaten yet? There's no shortage of food at home. I'll quickly prepare some for you guys to eat. She quickly stood up. She wanted to find someone to help, but the wife couldn't, because her belly was too big. The old man, as the head of the family, couldn't leave the guests behind, so he could only shout, "Who is he? Come and help." Hey. Lee Chun-hua was also working at home. He touched his wife's little hand under the table, smiled at her, and got off the bed to help. Shimaro is a sweet girl. I'll write a sequel to her story with Lee Chun-hua if I have the chance. Recently, fewer people have voted. Is it because I didn't write it well? If you think it's okay, please vote for me. Love you. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, A Long Lost Feeling. Leader Song. Lee's father said hesitantly, "Uncle, just call me Zio Song. I don't dare to be a leader." Song Ren smiled, trying to ease Lin's father's nervousness. Then I'll call you Zio Song. Although Lin's father had not seen much, he had one good point. That is, he listened to people's advice. When Lee Chun-hua went to the army, everyone thought it was not good. Lin's father asked the village chief, who said it was a good thing and let him go. Later, Lee Chun-hua was transferred to the Special Operations Department. He didn't know what was going on, so he asked the village chief again. The village chief had never encountered it and didn't know anything, so he ran to the county to ask. After hearing the news that it was a good thing, Lee's father continued to support him. Later, Lee Chun-hua scored 800 points, and Lee's father didn't know even more. It was his daughter-in-law, Zio Shimaro, who gave him a little bit of analysis and explained the pros and cons clearly. It was also because of understanding that the whole family supported Lee Chun-hua's work so much. Uncle, you say. When Song Ren was not training, he was a very easy to talk person, but Lin Fan had never seen him so friendly. Song Ren in the reserve team usually had a serious expression. Did he do it on purpose? Daddy asked Song Ren about Lee Chun-hua's performance. Song Ren said something in cooperation, and Daddy listened carefully, as if he could see his son's life from Song Ren's words. Shimao also leaned on the box at the head of the Kang and listened carefully. She touched her round belly and imagined the daily life of her child's father working hard for the family. Because Lee Chun-hua was promoted to special warfare and raised by 800, his salary also increased again and again, and he sent back a lot of money. In the second half of last year, the family renovated the old house, rearranged the warm Kang, and bought a lot of new home appliances. In Dali village, where living conditions are generally good, their family's conditions are also among the best. This is the result of Lee Chun-hua's struggle outside. Lee Chun-hua's current job is far less dangerous than the previous special warfare unit, which is also an important reason why she actively urged him to transfer. Although they can't meet often now, it is the wish of their whole family that Lee Chun-hua's safety can be better guaranteed. Lee Chun-hua also likes his current job and life. Instead of letting him retire and do something he doesn't like or is not good at, it is better to let him stay in 800 and contribute his strength to the country. Anyway, there are about 10 days of annual leave every year, which is much more generous than some people who work away from home, but it is not during the Chinese New Year. It was beyond everyone's expectations that he could come back suddenly this time. Shimao woke up from deep thought and heard Lee's father asking Song Ren, "How come you can come back before the Chinese New Year this time? Are you going to carry out a mission?" Lee's father is not stupid. With so many people together, they are definitely not here to stay for the Chinese New Year. Yes, there is a mission, so I can't stay along. Accompanying Lin Fan home was originally a mission, so it was okay for Song Ren to say, "I will leave about the day after tomorrow. I'm sorry to bother uncle and aunt and comrade Shimao." Not at all. Although Dadley was a little disappointed, he was satisfied to see them before the new year and for 2 days. It's important for you to be busy with work. It must be difficult for you to take the time to come and see us and stay for 2 days. We are satisfied. Shimao also nodded obediently. It was good to have an unexpected vacation. 2 days was not long, but not short. It was better to see each other before the new year and talk than not to see each other at all. Simple people are so easy to satisfy. Lin Fan held the hot water cup and watched the conversation between the two through the mist. How long had it been since she had seen such a relaxed homely conversation? She couldn't remember. Although the topic had nothing to do with her, her heart felt comfortable and calm in such a conversation. "Sister Lin?" Shimao woke her up from her thoughts. Lin Fan looked up and she asked shyly, "Can I call you Sister Lin?" "Of course, I'm much older than you, so maybe calling you auntie is fine." Perhaps because she liked the current atmosphere, Lin Fan was also willing to talk, and she smiled and replied to Shimao, "Ah, how old is Sister Lin?" Shimao was frightened by her word auntie. This sister didn't look very young. Dadley also looked at Lin Fan carefully with interest. This girl didn't look very young. "I'm 36. Lin Fan said with a smile. "According to the saying in my hometown, if you are under 10 years old, you can call them brother or sister, and if you are over 10 years old, you can call them uncle or aunt." "Ah?" Gao Fei asked in doubt. "There is such a saying? We have such a saying there too." Jiu nodded in agreement. It's just that in recent years, people either call handsome guys and beautiful girls, or call little brother or little sister. Calling someone uncle or aunt will make people unhappy. Shimao hesitated. "I'd better call you sister? I feel that you are very young, and it would be weird to call you aunt." "Okay, whatever you want." Lin Fan didn't mind the name. "Your Lee Chun-hua doesn't call me sister. You call me, and I will assume that he called me that too." "What? If he doesn't call you sister, then what does he call?" Dadley exclaimed. Lin Fan is 8 years older than Lee Chun-hua, so it's not too much to call her sister. Brother Lee always calls my sister by her name. Gao Fei said with a smile. Uncle, don't mind. My sister doesn't mind these. After Gao Fei got familiar with Lin Fan, he always liked to call her my sister and my sister. People who didn't know would think they were siblings. That's not okay. I have to say this kid. Dad Lin was unhappy. Why is this child becoming more and more rude? It's okay, uncle. Lee Chun-hua and I are pretty good friends. I'm used to him calling me that. If he suddenly changes his name to call me sister, I'm afraid he'll do something bad. Lin Fan interrupted Lee's father with a smile. Lee's father looked at the smile on Lin Fan's face and felt that it was not forced. He looked at his daughter-in-law next to him and saw that she nodded, so he didn't continue to dwell on the matter. Sister Lin, I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of brother Huazi. He is just that kind of person. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Shimao said softly. When Lin Fan saw her good girl look, he would not be angry, even if there was something, let alone nothing. She waved her hand and said, it's okay. I'm really good with him. Don't worry. I like this kid very much, haha. Besides, don't we still have Captain Song? Lin Fan patted Song Ren's arm. It reminded the two that the big boss was still here and Lee Chun-hua was under someone's care. Actually, I'm a little curious. Does Sister Lin have the same training as my brother Huazi? Shimao asked carefully and then explained. I'm not trying to find out secrets. I know that brother Huazi's training is very hard and I feel that girls have to do the same. Dad Lee was also curious. He hadn't realized that Lin Fan was a girl outside and just thought she was small. After entering the house, he found that there was also a girl. At this time, Lee Chun-hua came in with a tray of hot things. Come on, eat first. Are you all hungry? Lee Ma's voice came in first, and then she came in with a soup pot. Because there was ready-made pork rib soup at home, Lee Ma took tomatoes, eggs, and vegetables and made a pot of dumpling soup. There was meat, vegetables, eggs, noodles, nutritious and easy to digest. 5 large soup bowls were arranged in order. Lin Fan didn't feel anything, but the others were really hungry and ate a lot. Lee Ma was very happy to see that everyone was so appreciative of the food she made. Looking at the group of children who were inhaling crazily, her eyes were full of love. Dad Lee and Shimao did not say anything. The 3 of them watched the 5 people eating voraciously, feeling very satisfied. After one bowl was finished, everyone ordered another. At this time, Lin Fan looked very out of place. Compared with the other guys, Lin Fan, who took off his coat, had a slender figure, and he could actually eat 2 bowls of food like everyone else. Shimao looked at her flat belly in confusion, wondering where the 2 bowls of dumpling soup had gone. Only then did she really believe that Lin Fan was indeed a trainee like Lee Chun-hua and the others, and not a civilian as she had originally thought. Lin Fan actually longed for such a peaceful family life, but unfortunately she couldn't enjoy it herself. In Lee Chun-hua's home, her heart was healed. Remember to vote. Chapter 137 Inner Peace. After Lin Fan drank 2 large bowls of rice, she felt satisfied. She still didn't feel hungry or full, and she had no sense of taste. But she felt satisfied. Watching the warm interaction between Lee Chun-hua's family and the familiar people around her eating together, she suddenly felt the long-lost warmth. In her heart, this simple home-cooked meal was better than the expensive meal at noon. Lin Fan held the empty bowl and glanced at Song Ren. Seeing that he added another half bowl, she also handed over the bowl and said with a smile, "Auntie, I want half a bowl too." Based on past experience, her food intake was similar to Song Ren, so she just followed him. "Oh, girl, don't be full if you eat so much at night." Mother Lee took the bowl with some hesitation. Her son Huazi finished eating 2 bowls, and the 2 young men next to him didn't finish the second bowl, but they were also slow. It's okay for this leader to eat half a bowl. After all, he is a big man. Why does this girl eat so much? Mother Lee didn't dislike Lin Fan for eating too much. She was just afraid that she would get sick. "It's okay, Mom. Lin Fan usually eats this much. She has a big appetite. Don't deny her food, or she'll be hungry at night." Lee Chun-hua said as she sat next to Shimao on the kang. "Ah, that's good, that's good. Mother Lee was no longer worried when she heard that. Who doesn't like children who love to eat when they are older? She added more than half a bowl to Lin Fan, fearing that she would be hungry, so she added a little more than Song Ren. Lin Fan took it and continued to drink without saying a word. It was also the first time that Lin's father and Shimao had seen such a big eater. After being surprised, they quickly accepted it, and then they thought she ate deliciously. Seeing others eat their own meals so deliciously, the Lee family was very satisfied. After dinner, everyone talked and laughed for a while before preparing to rest. The problem arose again. The Lee family has 2 side rooms. One is the east wing where they stay, usually where Lee's father and mother live. The west wing opposite is the room of Lee Chun-ho and his wife. With so many guests coming, how to allocate the rooms is a problem. It's not that there is no room, the Kang is newly built and big enough. There is still room for everyone to sleep in one room. Sister Lin, Mom and I can live in the west wing, Shimao suggested. Her idea is normal, 1 room for women and 1 room for men. But everyone in the reserve team knows that it's not okay. It's okay because Lin Fan is familiar with them, but Shimao and Lee Ma are strangers. Even though they had a good chat just now, they were at a certain distance. When Lee Ma pulled Lin Fan, her stiff expression was noticed by everyone who knew her. Lin Fan either had to sleep alone or sleep next to them. But the reason must not be told to the Lee family, and Lee Chun-ho couldn't tell it either. In the end, Song Ren spoke up. Let the young couple sleep in the west wing. It's a rare reunion, so they must have a lot of private conversations. Song Ren's excuse is true. The young couple was newly married not long ago, and they were rarely together. They must have a lot of private conversations, not to mention that Shimao is pregnant. Everyone in the reserve team agreed with this way of handling it. Lee's father and mother felt uneasy. Leader, how can this be so embarrassing? Let you squeeze in with us old couple. The old man had some concerns. They are old, snoring, talking in sleep, getting up at night. There are always a lot of noises. Young people don't like to live in the same room with older people because they think it's too much. So many young men and a girl sleeping in the same room with me. Is that okay? Uncle, don't take it to heart. We are the ones who are causing trouble by coming here suddenly. Song Ren said with a smile. This Kang is big and hot. We haven't experienced it yet, and it's a good opportunity to listen to your stories about your youth. Seeing that they couldn't persuade them for a long time, Lee's father and mother really felt that they were sincere, so they stopped entangled and happily made the bed. Lin Fan slept at the head of the Kang, and Song Ren, Ji-yu, and Gao Fei were 2 people away. The old couple was 1 person away. Lee's mother originally wanted to sleep next to Lin Fan, but seeing that they had already made arrangements, she didn't say much. After turning off the lights, Song Ren talked to Lee's father from time to time. Lin Fan listened to the interesting stories of Lee's father and mother when they were young, and he didn't feel it was noisy at all. His heart was very peaceful, and he didn't know when he fell asleep. When she opened her eyes again, it was already bright outside, and she was the only one left on the Kang. Lin Fan was stunned. How long had it been since she had slept so soundly? Are you awake, Sister Lin? Shimao, wearing a pink top, opened the door curtain and came in. Good morning. Lin Fan quickly put on her clothes. Sorry, I got up late. Not late, it's only 7 o'clock. Captain Song said that it was rare to see you sleep so well, and he couldn't bear to wake you up. Shimao smiled. Where are they? Lin Fan quickly put on her clothes. Suddenly there was no one else around her, and she suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. They are running outside, Shimao said as she sat on the Kang. They said they want to practice these every day. If they can't go far, they will run around the yard. Lin Fan leaned on the window and looked out. After waiting for a while, she saw several people running past the gate. After she quickly washed up and wanted to join them, they had already finished running. Lin Fan lost interest all of a sudden. After such a long period of group exercise, she had long been accustomed to acting together. It feels a bit uninspiring to be alone. Is this not a good thing? She suddenly asked herself. Lin Fan, we are going to go up the mountain to dig bamboo shoots later. Will you come with us? Lee Chun-ho wiped her face with a hot towel and walked towards Lin Fan. Go up the mountain to dig bamboo shoots? Lin Fan looked at the people behind him in confusion. Yes, Brother Lee said that his sister-in-law likes to eat bamboo shoots the most. He rarely comes back, so he wants to help his sister-in-law dig more. Gao Fei smiled and gave a thumbs up. Brother Lee is really a model of a good man. That's right, I treat my wife very well. Lee Chun-hua was very proud. Can we dig bamboo shoots now? Lin Fan had no idea about the growth cycle of these crops. Yes, winter bamboo shoots usually grow in October and can be dug from the frost to the beginning of spring. Now it's almost the new year. It's a good time to dig. I just don't know how much is left on the mountain. Lee Chun-hua has been digging since he was a child and he is very familiar with these. There is a mountain behind their village and there are many bamboos in the mountain. People in the village often go in to collect game and dig winter bamboo shoots. It's just that the villagers should have dug a lot by now, and I don't know how much they can harvest this time. I told you that we have dug a lot of winter bamboo shoots for Myomio. That's enough. He refused to listen and wanted to go by himself. Lee Ma said helplessly when she brought breakfast out from the kitchen. Lee Chun-hua hurried forward to take it and said with a smile, "You dug what you dug, and I dug what I dug. Hey, can yours taste better?" Lee Ma actually knew that Lee Chun-hua wanted to do something for his wife. After all, he should not be at home when the baby was born. Although the whole family did not talk about this matter, they all felt guilty towards Shimao. So they were kind to their daughter-in-law from the bottom of their hearts. Why is it not delicious? Ask Myomio if the bamboo shoots I dug are the most delicious. Lee Chun-hua entered the house, and his voice could be heard from afar. He was punched by Shimao who was waiting in the wing room. After breakfast, Lee Chun-hua took the flat shovel and led the 4 people up the mountain. Digging winter bamboo shoots was not entirely for Myomio, but also to bring friends to kill time. It's not like they really sit in his house and accompany his parents and wife, right? A trip into the mountains also allowed everyone to experience life in his hometown. The air in the mountains in winter is extremely cold. But in the cold air, you can smell the fragrance of various plants, which is completely different from the turbid air in the city with smog and exhaust gas. Song Ren and Lin Fan followed Lee Chun-hua empty-handed, moving steadily forward on the trampled path. Gao Fei and Ji Yasu followed behind, each carrying a flat shovel. Under the leadership of Lee Chun-hua, everyone quickly found a dense area of winter bamboo shoots. Come on, right here, dig. Have you ever dug bamboo shoots? I have dug them, and it's fun. Remember to vote. Chapter 138 The little girl away from her parents. 2 hours later, several people came down the mountain with 2 sacks of fresh winter bamboo shoots. Seeing Lee Chun-hua scoop one with one shovel, Lin Fan also tried to dig a few. However, the technique was indeed difficult to master, and the strength was also lacking, so the good fat bamboo shoots were rotten. In order not to waste food, he finally gave up. Song Ren dug a few, also scooped one with one shovel, and it was obvious that he had done it before. However, there were only 3 flat shovels, so he gave the tools to Gao Fei and Ji Yu, who had never been exposed to this kind of farming fun. The 2 of them dug with great interest, and soon they dug quite well. After returning home, the Lee family was preparing the ingredients for lunch on the Kang. Everyone got on the Kang to help. There is a New Year's market in Shangtang town next door today. You can take everyone to have a look and have some fun in the afternoon. Dad Lee thought about it for a long time at home in the morning. After his daughter-in-law reminded him, he thought of a place where he could let the guests play. Is the New Year's fair in Shangtang today? Lee Chun-hua knew that the neighboring town would hold an open-air fair every year before the new year, but she hadn't been back for the new year for so many years that she couldn't remember the exact date. Yes. Lee's father smiled and said to Song Ren and others, "We don't have much fun here, and the shopping malls in the county can't compare to your big cities. There are only open-air fairs like this. Although the goods are not very good, it is also a traditional culture. It's good for everyone to go and have fun." Lee Chun-hua thought about it and nodded. "Okay, let's go to the fair in the afternoon. Do you think it's okay?" "Okay." Lin Fan nodded first. She suddenly remembered yesterday that it was really rude to visit someone's house without bringing a gift. She was thinking about how to make up for it, and the fair was here, which was just what she wanted. Lin Fan agreed, and the others had no objections. Gayo Feni and Gu had never been to a fair before, and they were looking forward to it. I've told your Uncle Zuang next door that his tricycle is at home. I'll put a layer of straw in the truck bed and 2 quilts. You can sit inside and wrap yourself up. It won't be too cold. Dadley had arranged everything for them early in the morning. Huh? Where's our car? Lee Chun-hua suddenly asked. If you hadn't told me, I would have forgotten. The car I bought for Myomio is not here. Stimulated by the news of Myomio's pregnancy, Lee Chun-hua subconsciously ignored this matter. When Dadley mentioned the tricycle, he remembered that their family should have a car. I borrowed it from Myomio's cousin. Motherly smacked her lips and said, looking unsatisfied. Brother Minimum? Lee Chun-hua thought for a while and asked Shimao, isn't Brother Minimum a big boss? He has a Mercedes-Benz at home. Why does he want to borrow our small car? The car Lee Chun-hua bought for Shimao was not a luxury car, but a commuter car worth about 100,000 yuan, which was completely inconsistent with the identity of his cousin who ran a building materials company and was a big boss. His car broke down when he returned to the county 2 days ago, and he was repairing it at the 4S shop. He and his sister-in-law were in a hurry to drive to the airport, and they had a lot of luggage, so it was inconvenient to go back and forth, so they could only borrow my car first. Anyway, I'm on vacation now, so I don't need the car, so I'll lend it to him. Shimao said simply. He's not staying at home for the new year. Why is he going to the airport? Lee Chun-hua was puzzled. Don't people go home? Going out for the new year and carrying a lot of luggage. Is he traveling for the new year? Where? Lee's mother interrupted. Do you remember the daughter of their family? I remember. I went to the full moon wine and the first birthday wine at that time. Lee Chun-hua had not yet joined the army. I think her name is Xiaoyu. She is about 10 years old. 12. Shimao said. I don't know what Brother Minimum thought. He transferred Xiaoyu to Nandao to go to school alone. What? Why go so far? Lee Chun-hua was shocked. Isn't Sister Minimum a civil servant? Did she resign? Go to accompany her child to school? Brother Minimum runs a building materials business, which is quite big and makes a lot of money. Not only did he open a company in the provincial capital, he also bought a house. Through his connections, he got Minimum's wife an internal position, so she could get a salary without going to work. The family of 3 lived in the provincial capital and only came back to their hometown county to visit their parents at the end of the year. But in the past 2 years, there was a document that prohibited people from eating empty salaries, so Minimum's wife had to go back to the county to punch in and go to work and live with her parents-in-law. She would go to the provincial capital to reunite with her family on weekends. And her daughter Xiaoyu has been with Minimum Jet, going to school in the provincial capital with better conditions. Why did she suddenly go to Nandao? Lee Chun-hua didn't quite understand. He knew that Minimum Jet's business was doing well, and he made a lot of money. But don't most people go to Gao, Sijiu, and Shuchun, which are recognized as developed cities in the country? I didn't quit. Minimum's wife is still working at home, and Minimum Jet is also making money in the provincial capital. Shimao also felt that this matter was incomprehensible. Leaving a teenage daughter alone to go to school in a strange place. Lee Chun-hua was stunned. Not to mention Nandao, even if it was Gao, you can't let the child stay there alone. What's the point? Everyone in the reserve team also felt that it was inappropriate. Not alone. Minimum's sister went with her child, which is equivalent to the aunt taking care of 2 children there. Shimao said helplessly. They bought a house for Xiaoyu there, and the 3 of them lived in that house. Is this about the house? Lee Chun-hua really felt incredible. Teenagers need parental love and form values. They will soon reach the rebellious period. What use can the aunt be? What are they thinking? Lee Chun-hua couldn't help but slap the table. Shimao shook his head. I don't know. Brother Minimum, you know, after he got rich, he didn't interact with us much. He said this when he borrowed the car. Otherwise I wouldn't know. It's been a few years. They take a plane to see the children during holidays, but they can't accompany them for long. Because both of them have jobs, except for the New Year holidays, they don't have long-term companionship. The children live with their aunt for a longer time. But the aunt also has her own children. Can a woman really take good care of 2 little girls in a strange city? not only in terms of life, but also in the children's mental health. After Shimaru knew about this, he immediately went to see Xiaoyu's circle of friends. Many years ago, Xiaoyu, who was in elementary school, added her as her aunt. She hadn't contacted her specifically for so many years, so she wasn't blocked by her child. After seeing the circle of friends, she found that her child's mental state was worrying. But she couldn't tell Minimum J and the others. After all, Minimum J has always been a big boss and doesn't care about their poor relatives at all. Although he didn't express it explicitly, everyone felt the disdain hidden under his smile. Their words not only have no effect, but will also push the already not so close relationship of relatives further away. Alas, it's hard for the child. Lee's mother also sighed. Life without parents around, even if there is no shortage of food and clothing, is incomplete. Lee Chun-ho also knows Minimum J's character, and knows that they can't intervene in this matter. If they are not careful, they will be scolded. They can only hope that Xiaoyu will not be affected in any bad way. He touched Shimaru's belly and said gently, in the future, our child must not be allowed to grow up alone. Yeah. Although our family is not that rich, we will never leave an underage child so far away from home alone, no matter what the reason. Shimaru also said. Lee's father and mother all agreed. The 4 members of the reserve team were silent, and everyone was deeply moved by this story, especially Lin Fan. She still remembers her rebellion in high school, which was caused by her parents' neglect. At that time, Lin's mother was at home every day, and she felt neglected. So, what about the girl, who was thousands of miles away? How did she feel in her heart? Just when the atmosphere was a little depressed, Lee Chun-ho touched Shimaru's belly and suddenly said, I hope this baby is a girl. Ah. Why? Shimaru was stunned for a moment and asked softly. Girls are good, like you. Lee Chun-ho smiled and said, and I can buy her a skirt, a hair flower and other things to dress up. Everyone felt warm in the first sentence, and the next sentence reminded everyone of Lee Chun-ho's pink aesthetics, and they suddenly felt cold all over. Shimaru's face also froze for a moment. She had no idea of favoring boys over girls, but at this moment she had a strong desire for the first time. God, please bless her to have a boy this time. Many parents will ignore the mental health of teenagers. It is not enough to just eat well and rest well. Children have many worries of their own and need the patience and companionship of their parents. I hope that children who are away from their parents can grow up without worries and happily. Vote, everyone. Chapter 139 Driving Without a License. After lunch, several people prepared to go to the market. Uncle Zhuang's 3-wheeled motorcycle consumes oil. He is in the moving business, and there is a moving sign and phone number on the body of the motorcycle. As an experienced driver of Mecha, Lee Chun-ho is naturally comfortable driving a motorcycle. He can drive very smoothly after getting used to the 2 accelerators and the clutch. Even Song Ren has never had the experience of sitting in a 3-wheeled vehicle and wrapped in a quilt to go to the market. Gao Fei and Jiu have neither. But after they saw the quilt with large flower patterns, they silently gave both quilts to Lin Fan. 1 mattress, 1 shawl. As a man, what's wrong with blowing the wind? Get ready, say goodbye to the Lee family. The 4 of them get into the truck bed, and under Lee Chun-ho's lightning speed, they arrive at the next town. Maybe it was because the sun was strong at noon and there was no wind, the few people felt okay, and it was not even as cold as last night in the 3-wheeled vehicle. Lin Fan wrapped himself tightly with the flower quilt without any scruples. Not far from Shangtang town, it was difficult to move. Lee Chun-ho parked the car on the side of the road, covered the quilt with straw, and walked forward with a few people. Not far away, they saw a stream of people and dense vendors hawking their wares. The cheerful atmosphere was completely different from the deserted shopping malls and neat supermarkets, and was full of the smell of fireworks. Several people were attracted by such excitement, and started to shop with great interest. Come on, write couplets and blessing characters on the spot. Come over here and look. The diamond kitchen knife can cut bones and meat easily. The needle threading artifact allows a 90-year-old lady to thread a needle easily. Let you thread a needle without asking for help. To clean the glass, just suck it and clamp it. You don't have to risk climbing through the window. It's safe and worry-free. The boss ran away. The last day, 2 yuan for the whole store. Several people had not visited the market for many years, and they looked at each store patiently. After an hour or so, several people had something in their hands. Lee Chun-hua, does your father like to drink? Lin Fan saw a tobacco and liquor store and asked Lee Chun-hua. It's okay, he's not particular. After Lee Chun-hua answered, she saw Lin Fan walking towards the tobacco shop and hurriedly stopped him. What do you want to do? You don't have to buy anything for my dad. I'm not buying it for you. Brotherly, don't stop me. Gao Fei pushed Lee Chun-hua. Although no one said it, everyone had a consensus. How can you go to someone's house empty-handed? Yesterday, we were too hasty to think about it. Today, we are going to the market, so we must make up for the gifts. Even if Lin Fan doesn't buy it, they will buy it. Oh, really? There's no need. Lee Chun-hua wanted to stop him, but Song Ren glanced at her, and she didn't dare to do it. This is basic etiquette. Do you want us to be rude to others? Song Ren said to Lee Chun-hua. Besides, these meals and drinks in your house are all spent on your parents' money. How can we add burden to the old couple? Not only your house, but also other people's houses. We have to prepare gifts. Lee Chun-hua thought so too. He went to Gao Fei's house tomorrow. If he didn't bring gifts and just ate and drank, he would definitely feel uncomfortable. So he stopped stopping everyone. Bought good wine for Lee's father. Didn't buy cigarettes, because Shimao was pregnant and Lee's father had already quit smoking. Bought useful pots and pans, knives, and other practical products for Lee's mother. Lee Chun-hua still remembered that Lin Fan couldn't touch sharp objects, so she snatched the knife box and stayed away from her. Bought a beautiful hat, clothes, and bag for Shimao. Lee Chun-hua insisted on pink, but Lin Fan ignored her. She chose the beige color that Mio wore last night. The group ate and walked around and gained a lot. They had good physical strength and walked around the market from beginning to end. It was getting dark, but they didn't feel tired. But if they didn't go back, their family would be worried. The empty truck bed was filled with all kinds of things when they came. Lin Fan was still wrapped in a floral quilt and huddled on the mat, and the others were next to her. The temperature in the evening was obviously much lower than at noon, and there was a little wind, so everyone felt a little cold. But despite this, they didn't want to wear the floral quilt. Anyway, they would get home in about 20 minutes, so they could just bear it. Just as he was thinking this, the tricycle stopped. What's wrong? Song Ren turned around and asked. There's a traffic police ahead. Lee Chun-hua stepped on the brakes from a distance when he saw the traffic police checking the car. What's wrong with the traffic police checking the car? Lin Fan didn't understand why he had to stop. I don't have a driver's license. Lee Chun-hua turned around and said to the people in the truck with a trembling voice. Everyone was speechless. That's not right. Can't you drive anything? How come you don't have a driver's license? Lin Fan still remembered that Lee Chun-hua said that they could even drive tanks and armored vehicles. We all have military driver's licenses, which can't be used outside. GU explained. Can't the military driver's license be used? Can you drive a tank, but not a tricycle? Lin Fan never knew that there was such a difference in driver's licenses. We are active personnel and have internal driving needs, so we have to hold a red driver's license. This driver's license limits the type of driving, and it must be military use equipment. If you want to drive a civilian vehicle, you must hold a black driver's license. You need to take the red book to the local area to apply. Song Ren said. I remember that you have a civilian driver's license, boss. Lee Chun-hua looked at Song Ren hopefully. I have one, but it's an A1 driver's license. Song Ren got his license when he was frequently on missions. If you serve in the department for a long time, you won't go to renew your license unless you have special needs, because there are not many holidays. You usually renew it after you retire. Can't A1 be used for any car? Lin Fan remembered that the highest level of driver's license was A1. You need to take a separate test for a three-wheeler license. It's not included in A1. GU added. He and Gao Fei still have airplane licenses, but they still can't legally drive a three-wheeler. Why are there traffic police setting up checkpoints on this kind of rural road? Gao Fei was depressed. This kind of road is all dirt, a 2-lane road without even asphalt, with fields on both sides. It takes half an hour to get to a village. It's so deserted. Why are there traffic police? Usually, towns and villages don't check motorcycle licenses so strictly. As long as you can drive and nothing happens, there won't be any traffic police running to the village to check whether you have a license. Uncle Zhuang's three-wheeler was licensed because he was doing business, but the driver didn't have a license. You knew there was a market, so you waited on the road. Li Chunhua was dejected. What should we do? Gao Fei frowned. If it doesn't work, just let him deduct it and punish him within the army. It's just a little embarrassing. Li Chunhua also accepted his fate. What kind of license do you need for a three-wheeled motorcycle? Lin Fan was pupa in the quilt and took out his driver's license from the inner pocket of his cotton jacket. D license, a special three-wheeled motorcycle license. You can drive a three-wheeled motorcycle, a two-wheeled motorcycle, and a light motorcycle. Gu said absent-mindedly. Lin Fan looked down at something and stretched the thing in his hand in front of him. Is it this? Gu looked closely. How do you have a D license? Several people hurried over, and even Li Chunhua got out of the car and leaned over to look. I took the test when I was young. Lin Fan remembered that he seemed to have taken this test back then, but he was not sure. After all, many years had passed. Seeing that everyone was really out of tricks, he took it out to see if he remembered it wrong. When the few people looked at the date of the driver's license, it turned out to be 8 years ago. Why did you take the three-wheeler license test back then? Li Chunhua was no longer nervous and asked curiously. Don't most people take the two-wheeler test directly? And you are a woman. He didn't mean to look down on women, but those who take the three-wheeler test are generally used to transport goods. It is true that few women take the three-wheeler license test, and it was so many years ago. It's cheap. Lin Fan thought about it. It seems to be only 50 yuan at that time. I took the test while I was taking the C license. It was really thanks to the incident back then. Several people laughed. If you have a license, you don't have to be afraid of the traffic police. Lin Fan slowly climbed out of the car and sat in the driver's seat. Li Chunhua climbed into the truck bed, and a group of people waited for Lin Fan to start the car. As a result, half a day passed, and there was no movement. Seeing that the sky was getting darker and darker, the traffic police noticed that they had not moved for a long time, and walked over here. Lin Fan's voice suddenly came from the front. How to start it? Haha, the motorcycle is, because I recently took the D license test, which added drama. But I wanted to take the test in April, and I had already written it in when I wrote the outline in July. So it was not added at the last minute. They do checked. If you don't apply for a black license locally with a red license, you really can't drive a civilian car. Well, drive safely. Voting. Chapter 140. Farewell. Don't you know how to drive? Li Chunhua leaned out of the truck bed. I knew how to drive at first, but it's been many years. I forgot it a long time ago. After Lin Fan got his driver's license, he never had the chance to touch a tricycle again. After a long time, how could he remember how to drive? Song Ren looked calm as expected, while Gao Fei and Gu laughed on the side. Under Li Chunhua's quick guidance, Lin Fan quickly became familiar with the way to start the tricycle. When he was about to set off, the traffic police walked up to them. Hello, comrade, please show your driver's license. The traffic police saluted and said, these people have been here for a long time without moving. There must be something wrong. They have seen this kind of situation many times when they were on duty. Lin Fan looked up and didn't pay attention to his men for a while. The car plop stalled. The traffic police looked at it and snorted in his heart. Guilty? There is no way to escape. He casually shone the flashlight into the truck bed and was startled by the four mighty guys inside. Isn't there a man here? Why let a woman sit in the front? Do you think I will be soft-hearted if you replace it with a woman? Humph, you underestimate me. Comrade, please show me your driver's license. The voice of the traffic police became colder and harder. He would not treat the driver differently just because he was a woman. Lin Fan obediently took out his driver's license. The traffic police took it and saw that it met the required driving type. He frowned and returned the driver's license to Lin Fan and asked dissatisfiedly, why did you stop here for so long? Didn't you know that there was a traffic obstruction notice? He thought that the few people didn't have a driver's license, so they stopped when they saw him. Who knew it wasn't? Humph. A wasted trip. Gayo Feni glanced at the empty dirt road behind him. There was not even a person. What kind of traffic obstruction was there? They were parked on the side of the road. Even if there was a car coming, it would not cause traffic obstruction. Lee Chun-hua came to his senses at this time and hurried forward to pull. Hey, let's go. This car has been old and has some problems. Let's go. Lee Chun-hua saluted while speaking, still speaking in dialect. The traffic police saw that there was really nothing to check, so he asked the few people to leave quickly and walked back. Lin Fan tried several more times and finally succeeded in starting the motorcycle. She was new to the game and didn't dare to step on the accelerator. She led a group of people and passed the traffic police at idle speed. The traffic police saw this and knew what was going on, but they couldn't stop the car for inspection. They could only hold their breath and let them pass. Although they were out of the sight of the traffic police, no one planned to switch. It was just a slowdown, and they didn't care much. Fortunately, after driving for a while, Lin Fan became more and more familiar with the control of the three-wheeler and dared to step on the accelerator and try to shift up and down. When she drove the car to the gate of the Lee family at lightning speed, she was so happy that she forgot to squeeze the clutch before braking, so the car stalled again. A group of people looked at each other and laughed. Get down quickly, get down quickly. Lee Chun-hua flipped out of the car and said, if it weren't for you today, we would be in trouble. In fact, it's nothing to be caught by the traffic police. The punishment will be transferred to the military, but it's not a good thing after all. Father Lee and Mother Lee came out upon hearing the laughter and helped everyone to carry things. Oh, you bought a lot of good things. Did you have fun today? Everyone moved things into the house in a lively manner. In the end, Lee Chun-hua went to the next door to return the car. In the East Wing, the Lee family was rejecting the gifts that Lin Fan bought for them. In the end, Lee Chun-hua came back and asked them to accept them. You kids are just too polite. Father Lee complained, but he couldn't hide the smile in his eyes. Who doesn't like sensible and polite younger generations? They don't lack these gifts, but they feel comfortable in their hearts. Lee Chun-hua also talked about the traffic police checking the car on the way back to the city, which made the three Lee family members laugh. Lin Fan was immersed in this warm and joyful atmosphere and kept laughing. Even if it was not particularly funny, she would laugh out loud. In the Lee family, she felt the long-lost relaxation, saying whatever she wanted to say, and laughing whenever she wanted to. Thinking that she would leave soon, she couldn't help but feel reluctant. Lin Fan, can you be the godmother of my child? Lee Chun-hua called her with a smile. She was just distracted. How did the topic suddenly come to this point? Not only you, boss, but also Gayo Fei and Gu. Can you be the godfather of my baby? Lee Chun-hua looked at his wife's big belly and suddenly invited several people. Several people looked at each other and recognized godparents. Is it so rash? Okay. Lee's father and mother were very happy. Although they had not been together for a long time, they liked these colleagues of their sons. In such a unit, their character must be guaranteed. And they work with their sons every day and have a good relationship, so it's okay to recognize godparents. No one had the experience of recognizing godparents, but they thought that, since it was Lee Chun-hua's child, there should be no problem, so they all agreed readily. After the child is born, there will be a chance to come again and hold a formal ceremony or something. This made the atmosphere even better. Everyone talked and laughed, and even helped Lee Chun-hua think of a name for the child. But no matter how happy it was, the next day, the separation came as promised. In addition to the many things they bought at the market, Lee's father and mother stuffed a lot of local products. They also specially asked Uncle Zuang next door to take them to the station to wait for the bus on a tricycle. Shimao also went to the station to see them off with a big belly. The family chattered, and it seemed that they would never finish talking. When they got on the minibus, they saw the three members of the Lee family standing there and waving their hands. Lee Chun-hua also opened the window and leaned out, waving her hands. Lin Fan felt complicated, and something sour spread in her heart. Farewell, she hated it the most. Lee Chun-hua's parting feelings came and went quickly. When he got off the minibus, he was like nothing happened. Lin Fan was a little depressed. Gyein, where Gaofen's home is, has a direct high-speed rail, but there is no train station in the county. The group had to buy bus tickets to the provincial capital at the county station first. Fortunately, the journey was not far, and it took more than 3 hours. In the car, GU bought high-speed rail tickets for everyone with his mobile phone. Originally, the seats were tight, but with Lin Fan there, they bought the most luxurious business class, so there was no shortage of seats. The total journey was more than 3 hours. Who would be willing to spend 3 times more money to be a sucker? Wouldn't it be a good place to get there by standing for one stop? If Lin Fan didn't have a lot of money, they would have chosen to stand there. When several people found the VIP lounge of the business class in the crowded train station, even Lin Fan, who was indifferent to money, couldn't help but sigh. It's great to have money. There is no need to elaborate on how many people there are at the train station during the New Year holidays. Not to mention that there are no empty seats waiting. Even the people standing are one by one. It's just crowded. Lin Fan felt uncomfortable with such an environment. With so many people and such a close distance, she began to panic. But on the other hand, she was thinking about whether she should deliberately rush into the crowd and try the desensitization test. But before this idea was put into practice, Song Ren took them to the VIP lounge. Come in first. Song Ren saw that Lin Fan had the idea of trying, but he didn't think it was the right time now. First, there were too many people. Second, they all had large and small bags, and there were too many obstacles. If something happens, it is not easy to react in time. If you want to desensitize, you should find a chance later. There are too many people taking the train during the spring festival, don't you think? Oh, there are so many people at the train station. Remember to vote for me. Chapter 141 Business Class Benefits. Hello, everyone. This is a VIP lounge for business class passengers. Please show us your proof of purchase. The pretty waitress came up with a smile. After GU showed her proof, the waitress's smile became more friendly, and she led the few people to a sitting area. Someone wanted to follow them into the lounge, but was stopped outside the door. Why can they enter but I can't? This man was dressed brightly, dragging a leather suitcase, and looked like a successful person. He looked much more upscale than Lin Fan and the other 4 who were dressed casually, carrying large and small bags, and carrying a lot of plastic bags of local specialties. I'm sorry, sir. This lounge is for guests who have purchased business class tickets to rest. Please show us your proof of purchase. Another waitress stopped him with a smile. The man didn't have a business class ticket, and he wanted to protest, but when he saw the security guard standing by the door with his arms raised, he still walked away cursing. The VIP lounge of the high-speed rail is actually a bit like the VIP lounge at the airport. This was Lin Fan's first feeling after entering. Of course, she had never been to an airport VIP lounge, but she glanced at it when she passed by. The soft carpet on the floor, the soft sofa seats, and all kinds of fruits and snacks, newspapers, and magazines. Overall, there seems to be no difference. Wow, there is such a high-end place in the train station? Lee Chun-ho was amazed. Gao Fei was a bit fierce. He had never been in here. But it is really comfortable. Gu said nothing, put away the luggage, and went to the bookshelf to find a book to read. Song Ren put the luggage away and took Lin Fan to the food area to find food. They bought some fast food for lunch and ate it in their hands just because they were afraid that the situation in the train station would be complicated and there would not be enough time. He was afraid that Lin Fan would not eat enough, so he thought about getting her some food after coming in. Now the lounge provides it, which is perfect. Lee Chun-ho quickly aimed at the computer in the lounge and sat down to play games. Gao Fei called home and told them that they would arrive in the evening and needed to prepare more food. Several people entertained themselves while waiting for the train. Before the train left, a male waiter came over. Everyone, your bus is about to leave. Please pack your luggage and follow me. Huh. Someone else is bringing their luggage on board. Lee Chun-ho thought they would have to queue up and squeeze as usual. Business class is like this. You will use a special channel to board first. Why do you think their prices are so high? Song Ren had taken business class several times and knew these situations. He calmly closed the magazine in his hand. "Thank you, Lin Fan." Lee Chun-hua smiled and saluted Lin Fan casually. "Thank you, Lin Fan." Gao Fei also saluted with a smile. Ji Yu saluted, but did not speak. Song Ren did not speak, and silently carried Lin Fan's luggage bag in his hand. The waiter then realized that these people looked like the cutest people. He led the way more attentively. The train attendant at the door saw that they were carrying large and small bags and wanted to help move the luggage, but found that he could not help at all. He could only quickly guide them to where to put their luggage. The business class of the high-speed rail was more spacious than Lin Fan had imagined. There were only 5 seats in a carriage, 2 in the back and 3 in the front. The chair was wide and large and covered with genuine leather. It was obviously expensive. The egg-shaped design allowed people to sink into it when they sat down. It was also equipped with special pillows, lumbar pillows, etc. Not only that, the chair could also adjust the angle and lay the seat flat. This allowed the passengers to stretch their legs and have a good sleep. However, their entire journey was only more than 3 hours, so they probably didn't need to sleep. It was a bit expensive, but it was still worth it. After Lee Chun-hua entered, she lay on the chair and tried various functions. She kept adjusting the angle, laying it flat, and standing it up. Except for Song Ren, no one else had such a riding experience. Even Lin Fan was playing with the seat. What a coincidence, there are exactly 5 seats. Lee Chun-hua sighed while lying in the chair. Such an independent space couldn't be friendlier to Lin Fan. Song Ren sat next to Lin Fan on 2 seats side by side in the front row. He saw that Ji Yu, who was always taciturn, actually turned the chair around and found it interesting. Except for the price, there are almost no disadvantages. The train set off quickly and sped towards Guyane. The attendants on the bus were also very enthusiastic. After getting on the bus, they brought snacks and drinks and then asked about their needs every hour. Lin Fan felt that this service attitude was no less than that of the flight attendants on the plane. When they arrived in Guyane, it was still light, but the sun was about to set. They took 2 taxis directly to Gao Fei's house. As soon as they got off the bus, they heard a call from upstairs. "Xiao Fei, is it Xiao Fei?" Everyone looked up and saw 2 white-haired old people leaning on the window and looking down on the balcony on the 4th floor. In the cold winter, they didn't know how long they had been leaning on the window. Grandpa, Grandma. Gao Fei didn't care about anything else at this time and rushed upstairs with all his heart. The others didn't mind at all. After paying the taxi fare, they took their things and followed. From the window just now, they already knew which household Gao Fei's family was. When they walked upstairs, Gao Fei didn't even have time to take off his backpack in the open door and hugged the 2 old people tightly. The old man's chattering moved the people outside. They stood quietly outside the house, not making a sound to disturb them, until the neighbor downstairs came up. "Hey, why are there so many people blocking the corridor?" The neighbor's voice reminded Gao Fei, and he turned around and greeted the familiar neighbor outside. "I'm sorry, auntie, this is my colleague. He just got home and hasn't entered the house yet." "Oh, isn't this Xiao Fei?" The aunt upstairs watched Gao Fei grow up and knew that he was away from home all year round and rarely came home. "Your grandparents must be so happy now." Yes, his auntie, "We are so happy." Grandma Gao walked to the door and was still wiping her tears. "Come in, children, come in. These are all Xiao Fei's colleagues. No wonder they are so energetic." The neighbor aunt knew that Gao Fei was a pilot and looked at the people she thought were pilots with admiration. "Don't worry, take your time, I'm not in a hurry." Even so, everyone didn't want to let the neighbors wait any longer and quickly went into the house. Grandma Gao exchanged a few more pleasantries with her aunt and closed the door. Gao Fei had already directed everyone to put down their luggage. Gao's house is an old house in the old city. It is also decorated in the style of the 1990s, with a lot of wooden structure inlays, which is somewhat similar to Lin Fan's house. But because it has been occupied for a long time, it is not so empty, with many daily necessities and full of life. Because Gao Fei called in advance, Grandpa and Grandma prepared enough slippers. After everyone changed, they sat down on the sofa in turn. They had to sit down. In the small room, there were so many 1.8-meter tall guys standing at once, which was particularly troublesome. Gaofen's grandpa and grandma also sat on the single sofa next to them, looking at his beloved grandson, and then at the 4 people of the same age on the other side. He laughed and couldn't stop. Gaofen introduced both parties, and everyone greeted politely. It was getting late, and the loving Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao invited everyone to have dinner first, talking while eating. I heard that the business class of the high-speed rail is very comfortable, but I haven't sat in it. Haha. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 142, Flying High. The dining table of the Gao family is a foldable square table. It is usually 1 meter square. When guests come, the 4 sides are turned up and fixed to form a round table. In order to entertain guests, many dishes have been placed on the round table, but most of them are cold dishes. In the kitchen, the pot on the stove is still warming on a small fire. Grandma Gao quickly took out 2 dishes from the pot and said with a smile when she brought them to the table, "You sit down first, I'll go and fry 2 more hot dishes." Grandma Gao, don't be busy, it's enough to eat. Lin Fan quickly stood up to dissuade her. The dishes on the table were barely enough for the few of them. But Grandma Gao was over 70 years old, and she couldn't bear to let the old lady work hard. If not, she could go out to find a midnight snack at night. It's not impossible. No hurry, no hurry. Grandma Gao was happy, and the wrinkles on her face had never been relaxed. Don't lie to me. I made it according to Zhao's appetite. I know how much you kids eat. Several people still couldn't sit still and squeezed into the kitchen to help. Grandma Gao complained, but she was so happy in her heart. Soon, all the dishes were served. Come on, let's go and celebrate the reunion before the new year. Grandpa Gao raised his glass. During the holidays, the reserve team can drink, but it must be moderate, and you must not lose your mind after drinking. Grandpa Gao poured white wine, the other 4 people drank beer, and even Grandma Gao poured a small glass of white wine. Only in front of Lin Fan was Coke poured. She has had a sensitive taste since she was a child, and she finds wine or champagne bitter, not to mention these beers and white wines. Although she can't taste it now, she still keeps the old habit. After clinking glasses, Grandpa Gao asked everyone to start eating, and not to be polite. Li Chunhua suddenly said, "Don't you have to wait for uncle and aunt to join us?" The originally cheerful atmosphere was choked. Li Chunhua instantly realized that she might have said the wrong thing again. Gao Fen's parents both died in an accident when he was in junior high school. Song Ren knew this when he was reading the file. Lin Fan is not a curious person, so he won't ask about this. After Gu entered the room, he scanned the furnishings in the room. He had some guesses in his heart, but he would not speak out. Only Li Chunhua, without any taboos, asked. In fact, he was just being polite, but he did not expect to encounter such a special situation. Grandpa Gao put down his chopsticks and sighed. He told everyone this sad fact. Although the incident happened a long time ago, every time he mentioned it, he still felt unspeakable sadness in his heart. "I'm sorry." Li Chunhua felt ashamed and secretly determined to control his mouth in the future. "It's nothing. It's actually been a long time. Normally, it's not that painful to mention it." Grandma Gao smiled softly and comforted Li Chunhua. "It's hard for my Zhaofi. He took a year off from school and graduated a year later than other children." Gao Fei also smiled and comforted Li Chunhua. "It's okay, brotherly, you care about me. Don't take it to heart. Come on, if you don't mention it, I won't think of it. It's just right. Let's toast to my parents in heaven again." He raised his glass with a smile without any reluctance, and everyone also raised their glasses to toast their deceased relatives from afar. Because of this accident, the atmosphere suddenly became a little cold, and no one knew what to say. Seeing this, Gao Fei took the initiative to talk about his own story. "From then on, I was brought up by my grandparents. Our family was ordinary, and my grandparents worked hard to support me. Fortunately, I didn't let them down." Gao Fei looked at the old man tenderly, and the old man smiled back. "My Zhaofi has been smart and sensible since he was a child." Grandma Gao praised her grandson. "He has liked robots since he was a child, and he always told us that he wanted to become a robot and fly into the sky. Was it a wish he had since he was a child? Others glanced at Gao Fei obscurely. His parents said that it's not easy to become a robot, but if you want to fly, you have to study hard and take the entrance exam for the Aviation Academy. Grandma Gao continued. After his parents passed away, Xiao Fei always remembered this and worked hard to take the entrance exam for the Aviation Academy. Gao Fei continued. I studied hard to take the entrance exam for the Aviation Academy. Later, I was selected to enter the flight base with excellent grades. I flew fighter jets for 2 years until one day, Chief Cui found me. Later, you all know, Gao Fei first flew a plane into the sky, and then he was transferred to the Mecha team to operate the Mecha, which was equivalent to becoming the robot he longed for when he was a child. Through his own efforts, he realized his childhood dream. Everyone congratulated him, and after a chat, the atmosphere gradually warmed up. Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao have the common characteristics of most elderly people, and they like to be lively. Usually they live alone, and this time their grandson came back before the new year, not to mention that he also brought so many children. The deserted home suddenly became different. They all felt 10 years younger and walked much more briskly. After dinner, several people discussed the issue of rest. The Gao family is not like the Li family, which has a big kang where everyone can sleep in a row. Their family is just an ordinary 3-bedroom and 1 living room. The old couple has 1 room. Gao's parents have 1 room, and Gao Fei has 1 room. It is said that there is not enough space for so many people. Fortunately, when their family replaced the sofa a few years ago, they replaced it with a sofa bed, which can be used as a double bed. After being pulled out, the old man warmly persuaded them to stay, and no one said they wanted to go out and stay in a hotel, so they could just stay. The next morning, the old man got up quietly, fearing that he would disturb the children sleeping in the living room. However, no matter how quiet they were, they could not avoid the vigilant Song Ren and Li Chunhua. Lin Fan slept in Gao Fei's single bed yesterday. Gao Fei naturally slept in his parents' room by himself and brought Jiu with him. Song Ren and Li Chunhua slept on the sofa in the living room. Gao Fei was reluctant at first, but no matter how it was arranged, someone still wanted to sleep on the sofa. It was Song Ren's order that ended this meaningless dispute. Grandpa Gao, Li Chunhua is usually very vigilant when he is not at home. This is a habit developed by the Special Operations Department. I woke you up, kid. Grandpa Gao apologized quietly. No, we were about to wake up. In the summer, Lin Fan would get up at 5 o'clock to run laps, and they were used to it. Lin Fan also came out of the house quickly. The biological clock is really hard to adjust, so it was very rare to sleep until 7 o'clock last time at Li's house. Gao Fei and Jiu also came out quickly. Everyone finished breakfast in a lively manner and accompanied the 2 old people to the park for morning exercises. The old man, surrounded by 4 young men, introduced his grandson to acquaintances everywhere in the park, and he never stopped laughing all the way. After morning exercises, everyone followed the old man to the vegetable market to buy vegetables. Grandma Gao found that the vegetables she cooked last night seemed not enough to eat, so she bought more this time. Song Ren and others happened to help carry the vegetables. The vegetable vendors also joked that Grandma Gao had so many grandchildren, and Grandma Gao was so happy that she couldn't stop smiling. When they got home, a group of people wanted to help Grandma pick vegetables and cook, but they were driven out by the old man. Go, don't get in the way here. Grandma Gao smiled and waved her hands. It's a rare trip to Argyan. It would be a pity if you don't go out for a walk. Xiao Fei, take your friends to play. I don't need your help here. Gao Fei didn't want his colleagues to help him as soon as they arrived at his house, so he quickly took a few people out. Gyan is not as cold as Li Chunhua's hometown. Gao Fei led a few people along the pedestrian path outside the community. When he was thinking about what attractions or tourist spots to go, Lin Fan stopped. What's wrong? Song Ren looked down and saw Lin Fan staring at a bird on the side of the road. The bird was lying on the permeable bricks under the tree, motionless, and seemed to be dead. Lin Fan saw this from a distance and was about to walk over, but she couldn't get over it, so she turned back. I want to bury it. Lin Fan put her hands in her pockets, looked around, and found a broken box thrown next to the trash can. She tore off a piece, walked back, shoveled the bird on the cardboard, and rolled the two sides inward to make a simple paper box. Now, she needs something to dig the soil. You borrowed a shovel from the shop next door, asked Lin Fan, and buried it in the green belt next to it, then started digging the soil. You are so kind. Gao Fei couldn't help, so he could only sigh on the side. Kind? Lin Fan was stunned for a moment, looking at the simple paper box wrapped in his hand. I feel sorry for my own kind. After hearing this, Song Ren looked at Lin Fan for a long time, and was relieved to make sure that she was emotionally okay. After finishing the work, several people went to the shop next door to return the shovel. Just as they were about to leave, a person came down the stairs inside. When Gao Fei saw him, he immediately rushed over. The man suddenly saw Gao Fei, was stunned for a moment, and then ran upstairs. Seeing that his figure was about to disappear, Gao Fei shouted, Jiang Yao Hei, how long are you going to hide from me? Gao Fei is also a poor child. Everyone has his own pain, which we usually can't see. Vote for Gao Fei to comfort him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 Childhood. Jiang Yaohei turned around and looked at his childhood friend who he hadn't seen for many years at the bottom of the stairs. Behind him, there were a few people who seemed to be his friends. The stairs led to the second floor. He couldn't get there even if he ran. He could only smile helplessly and invite everyone. Why don't you come up and sit down? Jiang Yaohei looked upright and cheerful. He poured tea and water for everyone with a very friendly attitude. But Gao Fei kept a cold face and seemed unmoved by his kindness. Everyone had never seen Gao Fei like this before, and they couldn't help but turn their eyes to the source of the abnormality, Jiang Yaohei. But Jiang Yaohei seemed not to notice and talked about this and that, but didn't say anything related to Gao Fei, as if they were just customers who came to buy tea. As the boss, he just treated them well. Where have you been all these years? Gao Fei finally couldn't help but ask. His eyes were a little red, a little light, and full of emotion. Everyone was attracted by such a resentful question. If there wasn't a big man sitting opposite him who was as big as himself, Li Chunhua might have started to gossip. Jiang Yaohei opened his mouth, wanting to explain something to Gao Fei, but looking at the people sitting around him, he finally closed his mouth and continued to make tea. His name is Jiang Yaohei, and he is my childhood friend. Gao Fei introduced him to his colleague next to him. We have lived in the same community since we were young, grew up together, and are the best of buddies. Jiang Yaohei still lowered his head to make tea. I know that you have been secretly helping me take care of my grandparents during these years when I was not at home. I'm very grateful to you. But why do you always hide from me? Gao Fei's voice unconsciously raised. Jiang Yaohei said helplessly, you should know that it is best for you if I stay away from you. I don't know, I just know that you shouldn't hide from me. Gao Fei stared at him with red eyes. The gossip factor in Li Chunhua's heart surged up again. I heard that there are men who like men now. Could it be that Gao Fei, Xiao Fei? Jiang Yaohei was helpless and was about to speak when he was interrupted by shouting from downstairs. Brother Hey. After the rude shout, the sound of dong dong footsteps came. Hey, brother Hey has a guest. I'll leave first and come back later. The man was dressed in a ruffian style, holding a handbag, and his eyes flickered when he spoke. He was not a serious person at first glance. He finished talking to himself, and without waiting for anyone to answer, he ran downstairs again. This person is completely different from Jiang Yaohei, but he takes him as the leader in words, and it sounds like he wants to make a living under his hands. Jiang Yaohei's social relationship must be complicated. Gao Fei is an active duty soldier. How could he be friends with someone with such complicated social relationships? Several people had their own thoughts in their hearts, but because the situation was unclear, they did not show it. Jiang Yaohei saw at first glance that the people with Gao Fei must be from the military. The reason why he didn't speak was because he was afraid of affecting Gao Fei. He thought he could get away with it, but he didn't expect such an accident. Gao Fei, tell me. As Gao Fei's direct leader, Song Ren must ask about dangerous social relationships. Gao Fei felt regretful when he saw Song Ren speak. He should have secretly come to find him afterwards, instead of letting Captain Song interrogate him in front of so many people. Let me tell you. Seeing Gao Fei in trouble, Jiang Yaohei, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke up. He smiled and showed no guilt. Gao Fei and I did grow up together, but later, something happened and we parted ways. We haven't seen each other for so many years. Jiang Yaohei explained to everyone calmly, it's normal for him to be excited after a long time of separation. He has taken care of me since I was a child, and his grades have always been better than mine. During the time when my parents left, if he hadn't been with me and encouraged me all the time, I would not have been able to get into Hangfei. Gao Fei paused and said regretfully, we could have gone to Hangfei together. Hearing this, Jiu looked at Jiang Yaohei seriously. He knew how difficult it was to get into Hangfei. Gao Fei got in, but Jiang Yaohei, who had better grades than him, didn't. What happened? Song Ren also realized that the key point of the matter was this change, and asked directly, so, can you tell me about this change? Jiang Yaohei knew that the other party was being polite. Even if he didn't say it, his information would be clearly in the hands of the other party afterwards. So it would be better for him to be straightforward. There is nothing that cannot be said. It's just that I committed a crime and I can't continue to go to school. Jiang Yaohei. Gao Fei called out anxiously. But the other party didn't care and directly explained the whole story. Jiang Yaohei's family situation is not much better than Gao Fei's. His father is not a good man. Apart from making money, he doesn't care about anything at home. Later, he found a mistress, which made her mother so angry that she became ill and passed away in a few years. Before leaving, she held Jiang Yaohei's hand and asked him to take good care of his young sister. Not long after Jiang's mother died, Jiang's father married the mistress. Jiang Yaohei couldn't stand the woman at home. Seeing that she was good to his sister, he directly applied for boarding school. Out of sight, out of mind. People say that if there is a stepmother, there will be a stepfather. The stepmother pretended to take good care of the child, but she would do all kinds of things as soon as the door was closed. As a result, in the second semester of his senior year, he suddenly received a notice from his class teacher during evening self-study, saying that his sister was gone. Jiang Yaohei didn't react for a while. What did gone mean? The class teacher touched his shoulder with sympathy and said, Yaohei, you have to be strong. Your sister has passed away. Jiang Yaohei couldn't remember the rest of the words. He ran home panting and saw his sister lying on the small bed, no longer breathing. With trembling hands, he stroked his sister's pale and cute little face, not knowing why things turned out like this. When he went home a few days ago, she still called him brother sweetly. The stepmother was crying in the living room, and his father didn't say a word. Jiang Yaohei's mind was in a mess, and he messed up his sister's clothes in his rude behavior, and saw the mottled scars on her skin. He suddenly woke up. He lifted his sister's clothes with trembling hands, and saw that there was no good flesh on his young sister's body. There were blue and purple marks everywhere. As smart as he was, of course he knew what happened. He actually left his sister alone in such an environment, and she even lost her life. Jiang Yaohei burst into tears in pain and slapped himself hard several times. He pulled his sister's clothes, rushed to the living room, clenched his fists and hit his stepmother who was pretending to cry. The fake crying was interrupted by a scream and turned into real crying. Jiang Yaohei wanted to continue hitting, but was stopped by Jiang's father. How could a dead daughter who was not liked be as important as a beloved woman? Jiang's father did not allow his son to hit his stepmother. Jiang Yaohei roared and asked his father why he tolerated others to treat his daughter like this. As a result, Jiang's father said lightly, she's just a little girl. Jiang Yaohei lost all his rationality. He punched his biological father. but he was only a teenager, and his physical strength and fighting experience were no match for Jiang's father. He continued to output with anger. During the scuffle, Jiang's father was pushed to the ground by him, and the back of his head hit the corner of the coffee table. Blood flowed out. Jiang Yaohei is a tragic figure. Alas, poor Yaohei. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 144 The Helplessness of Life. The bright red color made the angry Jiang Yaohei dazed. He was numb all over as he watched his stepmother screaming and shrinking back. The neighbors who heard the noise broke the door and rushed in. Someone rushed to Jiang's father, and someone rushed to him. He felt like he was separated by a hood. Everyone's voices were buzzing, everyone was shaking, and more people came to him. His eyes went black, and he knew nothing. When he woke up again, he was in the hospital. Guarding the bed were uniformed policemen. They told him that Jiang's father had died due to severe head injury and excessive blood loss. Jiang Yaohei listened expressionlessly, was silent for a long time, and asked, "Will I go to jail?" The police said that they had taken statements from the stepmother and neighbors and determined that Jiang Yaohei was guilty of manslaughter. Because it was not subjective homicide, and considering his young age, he was not held responsible. "What about her?" Jiang Yaohei asked. "She killed my sister, won't she go to jail?" The police looked at Jiang Yaohei's threatening eyes and explained helplessly. The stepmother said that the injuries on the sister were all caused by Jiang's father. The neighbors had a good reputation for the stepmother, and the evidence was not enough to support his conclusion. He lost 2 close relatives in one day, one of whom was accidentally injured. The police felt sympathy for Jiang Yaohei. When he returned home, his stepmother was gone. She left the Jiang family with the family's savings and all her clothes. He couldn't stay in school. Some parents complained to the school and didn't allow the murderer to go to school with their children. The school couldn't do it. It couldn't let the boy who ranked first in the grade drop out, nor could it fight with the angry parents and let him continue to go to school. Jiang Yaohei understood the principal's dilemma, and he never went to school again. The dream of flying, which was so close at hand, ended. At that time, he was penniless, and couldn't even afford the funeral expenses. The neighbors and the community knew about his situation, and they all sighed that the stepmother had harmed people, sympathized with his experience, and donated money. He took the donations to cremate his sister and Jiang's father. He placed his sister in a place where he could see a beautiful view. Then, he scattered Jiang's father's ashes in front of his mother's grave. After finishing all these, he began to make money day and night. He wrote down every donation, and he wanted to pay back the money as soon as possible. It is not easy for miners to make money. He carried a sack and went to the street to pick up rags every day and then sold them at the scrapyard at night. He thought it through, but Gao Fei couldn't. After this series of blows, Gao Fei had no intention of studying and kept begging the school, hoping that he could continue to go back to school. He also often went to Jiang Yaohei to ask him not to give up studying and to continue to take the college entrance examination. Let knowledge change fate. Jiang Yaohei looked at Gao Fei, who was almost innocent and protected by his family and himself, and felt comforted and bitter in his heart, and he cursed. "Do you know what it means to have killed someone? You did it unintentionally." Gao Fei was anxious. Everyone who knew Jiang Yaohei knew that he was unintentional. "It's not important. What's important is the result," Jiang Yaohei said. "The school we want to go to has strict review. I can't go." Gao Fei wanted to say that there were other schools, but Jiang Yaohei threw the sack in his hand at his feet, and the bottles inside fell to the ground. "If I don't continue, I can't even afford breakfast tomorrow." Jiang Yaohei's crisis is not just about study. He thought about selling the house, but the incident was on the news. Everyone knew that someone had died in that house, and no one was interested. "Gao Fei, go ahead. You should also work hard for me and take the exam for Hangfei." Jiang Yaohei's eyes flashed with tears. Gao Fei seemed to have grown up a lot at this moment, and he accepted the reality. He didn't persuade him anymore, and gritted his teeth, and returned to school. Since then, he has never looked for Jiang Yaohei again. He studied hard, and vowed to get into Hangfei with the best grades. He succeeded. When he got the admission letter from Hangfei, He ran to share it with Jiang Yaohei first. But Jiang Yaohei disappeared. No matter how he looked, Jiang Yaohei just didn't show up. Later, he went to school, graduated, and came back less and less, and never saw Jiang Yaohei again. But Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao told him more than once that Jiang Yaohei was taking care of them privately, but they had never met. Until today, they met by chance. Do you know that I have been looking for you for so many years? How could you? Gao Fei wanted to scold, but he couldn't bear to scold anymore. He knew what Jiang Yaohei was worried about. Everyone present sighed when they heard it. What kind of helplessness is this? This person can actually overcome all difficulties and open such a tea house. The hardships are unimaginable. Did you go out to mix in society during the time you disappeared? Song Ren is not a person who is easily disturbed by emotions. No, I have never mixed in society. Jiang Yaohei denied unexpectedly. How could it be? Just now, that street urchin came up and called you brother? Li Chunhua said. The social circle is very exclusive. If you are not in the circle, you will not recognize your brother casually. Jiang Yaohei poured tea for everyone slowly and continued to speak. I'm very smart and I entered society early, so I know how hard life is. I started by picking up scraps. After paying off my debts, I went south to make money. After saving some money, I started doing business again. He chose to do catering. Because he was smart and smooth, his business quickly stabilized. And he soon opened a chain of stores. After becoming financially independent, he was worried about his childhood friends' elderly ancestors, so he opened this tea house near his home to take care of them nearby. The street urchins were all people he had dealt with when he was making a living. He didn't mean to join them. Instead, after they heard about his deeds of killing his own father, they thought he was a ruthless person and unconsciously followed him as their leader. I found that these street urchins were actually not very evil, so I thought of giving them a chance and giving them a meal. Over time, all the people who made a living here obeyed me, and their lives got back on track, but their old habits were not easy to correct. Jiang Yaohei finished his story and took a sip of hot tea. After listening to his narration, everyone felt that, if all this was true, this person was still very admirable. Song Ren didn't say anything after hearing this. Whether it was true or not, he would have to go back and check to know. I didn't expect you to be so close to me. Gao Fei knew that this tea house had been open for several years, but he never thought that the person he had been looking for was here. When you were not at home, I helped you look after your grandparents. You know, I don't have any relatives anymore. If I have to say who is close to me, it's only you three. So you don't have to thank me, I volunteered. Jiang Yaohei was not trying to show off. Gao Fei was like his yearning for innocence in his heart, so he always protected him and didn't let him come into contact with too much darkness. It was also because of this that Gao Fei was sometimes too innocent, not like a 26-year-old young man. Most of the time, he was still like a student. After chatting for a while, it was time for lunch. Jiang Yaohei invited several people to his restaurant for dinner. Gao Fei hesitated for a moment, thinking of the missed opportunities over the years, and still agreed. He called his grandparents to explain the situation, but fortunately they hadn't prepared much. Knowing that he had met Jiang Yaohei, he was also very happy, and told them to go without worry. It was not until Jiang Yaohei led everyone into a well-known restaurant that everyone realized that his income was not as much as he said. Come on, let me make amends for your crime today, Jiang Yaohei said, hooking his arm around Gao Fei's shoulder. Song Ren's cell phone rang. It was Jiang Yaohei's investigation data that arrived. Jiang Yaohei did not fall into darkness. He realized his own value through his own efforts, while also pulling the people around him. Jiang Yaohei is a good person. Please vote for him. Chapter 145. Warning from a childhood friend. When Song Ren went downstairs of the tea house, he sent a message to the security department of 800 to check Jiang Yaohei. After the security department checked the authority and found no problem, they quickly sent him a message. Just as Jiang Yaohei said, he has been running around in society since he dropped out of school. Although the information in some stages is not detailed, no illegal information was found about him. Later, He went south to work, accumulated capital, and established his own catering business. Then he attracted investment and opened a chain. His methods were not flawless, but there was indeed no illegal behavior. His interactions with street urchins did guide them to the right path. How could the military ignore such a person when investigating Gao Fei? It's just that Gao Fei and Jiang Yaohei didn't know it. Jiang Yaohei chose to avoid it because he was afraid of causing trouble for his childhood friend who was admitted to hang free. This behavior itself can also show what kind of person he is. The military will not hinder others from interacting normally because of unfounded speculation. So Jiang Yaohei's appearance this time can be regarded as a clear path. As long as he does nothing wrong in the future, it will not affect Gao Fei. Of course, seeing how much Jiang Yaohei cares about Gao Fei, he should have some scruples before doing anything. Song Ren put away his phone, and his serious expression eased. The few people waiting for him in front knew that everything was fine. Jiang Yaohei finally put down the heavy stone in his heart. Looking at the face of the leader Song, his presence should not have any adverse effects on Gao Fei. He smiled even more brightly and greeted everyone to go in. Everyone sat down in the boss's private box. Jiu whispered to Lin Fan about the famous history of this restaurant. Song Ren gave Jiang Yaohei a few pointers in person. Jiang Yaohei, who was free of psychological burden, showed everyone the smooth way of dealing with things of a successful businessman. His smile was just right, neither too flattering nor fake. Even a sensitive person like Lin Fan could feel the sincerity in it. He talked to Gao Fei and did not leave others alone. He always took good care of everyone's needs and made everyone feel comfortable. This is a master. Lin Fan was impressed by Jiang Yaohei's ability. No wonder he could earn this family fortune in such a short time. She was distracted and stuffed a pickled pepper chicken feet into her mouth. Ah! The spicy taste immediately pulled her back to the table. She quickly spit out the food in her mouth and gulped down Coke. What's wrong? Jiang Yaohei asked hurriedly when he saw the change. Is there something wrong with the food? Spicy. Lin Fan held back her tears and waved to Jiang Yaohei to let him not be nervous. Everyone could see that, because of Gao Fei, he cared about their feelings very much and was afraid that he would not take good care of them. Others could not sit still. Some poured water and some fanned the room to help Lin Fan relieve the pain. Jiang Yaohei ran out the door without saying a word and soon brought back a glass of milk. Here, drinking milk can relieve the spiciness. Lin Fan took it and felt warm to the touch. It was actually a cup of warm milk. She gulped down a few mouthfuls and then held a large mouthful in her mouth, soaking her tongue, which was aching from the spiciness, in the milk. She finally felt better. The whole table was in chaos because of the spicy chicken feet, and Jiang Yaohei naturally saw the importance of Lin Fan. But he pretended not to know and didn't ask or say anything. He only knew that they were Gao Fei's partners and he just had to take good care of them. After Lin Fan felt better, she asked Jiang Yaohei for a small bowl of hot water. After brushing the spicy chicken feet she had just spit out in it several times, she stuffed it back into her mouth. It's still a little spicy, Lin Fan thought. She quickly swallowed it whole and drank a few more mouthfuls of milk to suppress it. If you can't eat it, don't eat it. Li Chunhe looked at Lin Fan with tears in her eyes and said distressedly, that won't work. It's shameful to waste food. Lin Fan said to Li Chunhe seriously, and then turned to Jiang Yaohei and said, hello, Boss Jiang, you laughed at me. Jiang Yaohei hurriedly said no. Lin Fan can't eat spicy food. Gao Fei suddenly asked. He and Jiu came late, so they didn't know Lin Fan's preferences that well. But they had never seen Lin Fan eat spicy food. No, Lin Fan never eats spicy food. Li Chunhe replied while eating. As early as when Lin Fan told Wu Yi about the customized recipe, there was an item that said he couldn't eat spicy food. He and Song Ren heard it clearly. Ah. Gao Fei suddenly clapped his hands and shouted, Lin Fan has a sense of taste? He pointed at Lin Fan with a look of surprise, as if he had discovered a shocking secret. This Miss Lin has no sense of taste? Jiang Yaohei thought to himself, but pretended not to hear anything. Strictly speaking, spicy food is not a sense of taste, but a sense of pain. Ji wiped his mouth with a tissue and said to Gao Fei, isn't it? Gao Fei was puzzled and a little disappointed. Lin Fan's sense of taste has not recovered, and it is one of the few symptoms that have not improved so far, he thought. Gao Fei leaned back in his chair dejectedly. Jiang Yaohei poured him wine and added dishes at the right time, which soon made Gao Fei forget the frustration in front of him. Because Jiang Yaohei had a strong sense of propriety, Song Ren, who was vigilant, had to say that it was very comfortable to have dinner with such a person. During the meal, Jiang Yaohei expressed his curiosity about Gao Fei's military life. Thinking of his previous dream of flying, Song Ren tacitly allowed Gao Fei to say something without violating confidentiality. Everyone could feel Jiang Yaohei's emotion, as if they had experienced such a life from Gao Fei's description. Thinking about his past, everyone felt sorry. If it weren't for the accidental incident that year, the occasion for their meeting might not be here. Gao Fei also added Jiang Yaohei's contact information in front of Song Ren. After a meal, both the host and the guest were happy. With the boss here, there was naturally no need to check the accounts. But before the end, Jiang Yaohei specifically mentioned his uncle and aunt to Gao Fei in front of everyone. My uncle and aunt treat me very well. What's wrong? Gao Fei was confused. How can they be so kind to you? Jiang Yaohei asked helplessly. Well, Gao Fei thought about it, and it seemed that there was nothing particularly specific. They always told me to work hard in the team and not to worry about my grandparents at home. Is there anything wrong? Jiang Yaohei rolled his eyes at his childhood friend. His expression was much more lively than before. Do you think they are kind? They just hope you don't come back. How is that possible? Gao Fei frowned. Why would they hope I don't come back? If you don't come back, your house will be theirs. Jiang Yaohei said, looking at Gao Fei's confused expression. Not really? Gao Fei thought it was unlikely. My uncle and aunt don't lack money. Besides, the house was bought by my parents, and my grandparents have been living there. It's in my name. How could they think of this? I just protected you too well. Jiang Yaohei sighed helplessly. Money can move people's hearts, not to mention a house. Do you know how much the house is worth now? How much? Gao Fei didn't come back for many years, and he never thought about selling the house, so he didn't care about these things. More than 1 million. Jiang Yaohei said. Gao Fei breathed a sigh of relief. It was higher than he thought, but not ridiculously high. According to his salary, he could save it without eating or drinking for a year and a half. Do you think this money is nothing? Seeing that Gao Fei didn't care, Jiang Yaohei put a tight spell on him again. Don't forget how expensive Guyane is. Your uncle and aunt don't lack money, but they only earn more than 5,000 a month. Jiang Yaohei didn't take this little money seriously, but there were people who took it seriously. Gao Fei was away from home for many years, and there were only 2 old people in the house. After a long time, people's greed arose. Lin Fan's expression is becoming more and more vivid, and she talks more to strangers. This is the meaning of my arranging a trip for them. It is to adjust Lin Fan's mentality. This is not a water article. No one has voted for me recently. Do you dislike this part? Although, I thought about it before writing, but I think it is still necessary. During the 800 period, I didn't write in detail about the healing of Lin Fan's heart. Now that Xingqian is stable, her mental state must recover quickly. Healing feelings through feelings. This is my idea. Friends who have votes, remember to vote for me. Thank you. Chapter 146. Uncle and Aunt's Thoughts. When he couldn't contact Gao Fei, Jiang Yaohei could only look after the 2 elders in the dark. He had long noticed his uncle and aunt's thoughts. After all, this was someone else's family affair, and Jiang Yaohei couldn't intervene. But seeing that Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao were getting older, Gao Fei was kept in the dark and had no idea. Since he met them today, he naturally had to remind him. Moreover, he knew Gao Fei's character. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was innocent and ignorant of the world. He said it in front of these colleagues because he was afraid that after so many years, his credibility in Gao Fei's heart would not be the same as before. After they knew about it, they could remind Gao Fei from the perspective of an observer. Compared with his childhood friend who had disappeared for so many years, the words of his companions who were with him at all times were more trusted by him. You don't believe it? Gao Fei's reaction was within Jiang Yaohei's expectations, and he didn't say much. If you don't believe it, go home and see. At the latest tomorrow, they will come to see you. You can wait and see. Gao Fei wanted to say that it was normal for his uncle and aunt to come to see him. But Jiang Yaohei was too special in his heart, and he couldn't think of refuting it for a while. He was in a bad mood, and was skeptical about his childhood friend's warning. Lin Fan and others saw what Jiang Yaohei meant, but they didn't know the real situation, so they could only persuade Gao Fei not to think too much. When the enemy comes, we will fight him. When the water comes, we will block it with earth. Thinking so much now will only add to the trouble. After returning home, Gao Fei has been listless. Jiang Yaohei's words always flash back and forth in his mind. Whenever there is a noise on the stairs, his first reaction is whether his uncle and aunt are coming, and he stares at the door closely. He was relieved when he knew the sound was far away. He hoped that his uncle and aunt would come earlier to prove that Jiang Yaohei's warning was nonsense. He also hoped that they would not come, which was what Jiang Yaohei expected. Even the elderly Grandpa Gao noticed this absent-mindedness. With Lin Fan's reminder, Gao Fei realized that the two elders' eyes were always on him, and even though they were very worried, they didn't say it out loud. Gao Fei was stunned and suddenly realized that he spent too much time on meaningless things and neglected to accompany his family. He quickly put aside the random thoughts in his mind and became intimate with his grandparents. The old man smiled when he saw his grandson had returned to normal. With Li Chunhe also making fun of him, the atmosphere soon became lively again. The next morning, several people accompanied their grandparents to buy vegetables and returned. They rejected the suggestion of going out to play again and firmly decided to accompany the two old people to cook. The two old people were both happy and helpless, and they kept talking to a group of children about Gao Fei's embarrassing childhood. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Gao Fei's heart was suppressed, and he opened the door. It turned out to be the uncle and aunt he had been thinking about all night. At this moment, he couldn't tell what he felt in his heart. Those anxieties and restlessness seemed to have subsided in an instant, and his heart was calm instead. Uncle, aunt. He called people politely and let them in. Xiao Fei is back. Oh, you look good. Aunt came in and handed over a bag of fruit in her hand with a smile. Why didn't you tell us when Xiao Fei came back? If we hadn't heard from others, we wouldn't have known you were back. Uncle complained with a smile and patted Gao Fei on the shoulder. Gao Fei couldn't see that his uncle and aunt were any different from before, nor could he sense the meaning of Jiang Yaohei's words. I came back temporarily and couldn't stay for a few days, so I didn't intend to disturb you. In fact, he had forgotten. Although Gao Fei's uncle and aunt were nice to him, they were not close on weekdays, so he didn't think about telling them when he came back. After the uncle and aunt entered the house, they revealed the little cousin behind them. He was playing games on his mobile phone without raising his head. Dad, Mom. Oh, there are so many guests. Aunt raised her voice, as if she was startled. Oh, it's my colleague. Gao Fei hurried in and introduced both parties. Uncle and aunt greeted everyone politely. Because Gao Fei's uncle and aunt came, everyone was embarrassed to continue sitting and stood up in unison. Together with Lin Fan and Gao Fei, the already small dining room space seemed full of oppression. Uncle Gao and his wife couldn't help but step back, their smiles froze, and soon hung up again. I don't know if it was Jiang Yaohei's reminder that made Gao Fei have a preconceived notion in his mind. He always felt that the smiles of his uncle and aunt were a little hypocritical. But he had little social experience, so he just suspected it, and was not sure. But in the eyes of Lin Fan and Song Ren, who had rich social experience, Gao Fei's uncle and aunt had a clear purpose. They thought of Jiang Yaohei's reminder, and felt that it was almost certain. Mom and Dad, you didn't tell us that Xiao Fei was back. Aunt Gao complained with a smile. Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao also had a stiff expression. They looked at each other, and Grandpa Gao spoke. The child came back suddenly, and there were so many colleagues with him. There were so many people at home, so I didn't think of it. Sit down, all of you. These are Zyopha's colleagues. Are they all pilots? Uncle Gao politely invited everyone to sit down. Oh, there is also a female pilot. Everyone smiled and acquiesced to this misunderstanding, and no one corrected it. Female pilot? Where is she? The cousin at the door was attracted. Rushing in, they saw that Lin Fan was completely different from those female pilots with red lips and white teeth on TV. They frowned and criticized. This woman is not good looking. After saying that, they ignored her and ran to the sofa to continue playing with their mobile phone. This child is so rude. Aunt Gao laughed, but she didn't mean to teach him a lesson. You adults should be magnanimous and don't argue with children. Even the simple-minded Li Chunhua felt uncomfortable with these words. The cousin was already 13 or 14 years old. Whether the child was ignorant or not was another matter. He attacked Lin Fan as soon as he came in. Even if they felt uncomfortable, it would be fine. After all, no one really wanted to argue with a child. But even though there was no expression, the mother began to defend him. Just think about it. When the child came into the room, he didn't call him brother, and he didn't even call grandpa and grandma. It's clear that his family education is worrying. Such a child doesn't need them to educate him, and he will suffer in the future. Li Chunhua thought with a sly smile. Gao Fei was embarrassed and didn't know how to deal with this situation. Grandpa Gao wanted to scold him, but was interrupted by Aunt Gao's words. Xiao Fei, how long will you stay this time? When will you leave? Such questions are heard every time he comes back. Gao Fei originally thought that he was concerned about himself, but Jiang Yaohei's reminder and his cousin's attitude just now, no matter how he listened, he felt that he was urging him to leave. In 2 days. According to the original plan, he was supposed to leave tomorrow, but he didn't tell the truth. Oh, so urgent. I can't stay at home until the new year. Aunt Gao said it was a pity, but the smile on her face deepened. You work hard, we understand. Don't worry, we will take good care of the family. Grandpa and grandma have us. Don't worry about the family, just work hard on your career outside. Uncle Gao also encouraged. Gao Fei had a grudge in his heart, and he didn't feel good, no matter how he listened. Listening carefully, there were not many words of concern, most of which asked him to work hard outside and not worry about the family. Did he think too much? Gao Fei didn't want to be led by Jiang Yaohei's words and think too badly of his uncle and aunt. At least, they didn't show any obvious intention to covet his house. After chatting for a few more words, his aunt asked where so many people would stay at night. Gao Fei said that they would stay at home and they could just pull the sofa apart and squeeze in. How can that be possible? The cousin who was playing games on the sofa suddenly spoke up. What's the problem? Gao Fei didn't understand. He had lived here for 2 days and there was nothing inconvenient. It was just a bit aggrieved for Captain Song and Brother Lee. Why is there no problem? So many people live here, but no one has asked us. The cousin's tone was not good. The aunt saw that it was not good and hurried over there. Why should I ask you? Gao Fei asked in a deep voice. Live in my house. The cousin's words were covered by his aunt before he finished speaking. The uncle laughed. Children's words are not taboo. Children's words are not taboo. Looking at the embarrassed 2 old people, Gao Fei was not a fool. Children's words are not taboo, so they say the truth. In their hearts, they really regard this house as their own property. How many interests will it take for feelings to waver? Many family ties cannot stand the test. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 147. Gao Fei is drunk. In the weird atmosphere, the uncle and aunt did not stay for long and quickly said goodbye and left. No one saw them off, not Gao Fei, nor Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao. Gao Fei thought of the love that his uncle and aunt had for him many years ago. Was it all fake? When his parents had just had an accident, their love for him was obviously real. Uncle stepped forward to find the person who caused the accident. At that time, there was no cousin, and his aunt accompanied her every day, hugged him and cried, and really cared. When did it change? Grandpa Gao and Grandma Gao hesitated to speak. They knew that their youngest son had thoughts about the house that he shouldn't have, but he was his own son after all. The couple revealed it several times intentionally or unintentionally, and the old couple understood it. They solemnly declared that the house belonged to their eldest grandson, but the youngest son and his wife didn't seem to care. Gao Fei was away from home all year round because of his work, and the old couple often had to rely on the youngest son and his wife for their lives. They didn't want to make it too stiff. Everyone knew what was going on in each other's hearts, but they didn't go to the point of tearing their faces. The two old people didn't want Gao Fei to know how good his uncle and aunt were to him. They were calculating. They missed their grandson, but were glad that he couldn't stay at home for a long time. Otherwise, with Gao Fei's IQ, no matter how simple he was, he would be able to feel that something was wrong. Especially when the little grandson behaved so obviously. Unexpectedly, some things can't be hidden. Looking at the eldest grandson who was stunned and unresponsive, the old man was very sad. Okay, didn't nothing happen? Song Ren took the initiative to step forward and pat Gao Fei on the back. Yeah, don't think too much. Li Chunhua also said, didn't Jiang Yaohei remind you long time ago? Yaohei. Grandpa Gao thought of Jiang Yaohei and hesitated to speak. That's a good child. Gao Fei, look at your grandparents. They need comfort more than you. Lin Fan felt sorry for the two old people, looked at his grandson eagerly, and asked Gao Fei to take the feelings of the old people into consideration. Gao Fei then realized that the expressions of his grandparents looking at him were full of worry and guilt. It's all my fault. Gao Fei wiped his face, restored his smile, and said to the two elders, Grandpa, Grandma, let's not talk about those unhappy things. Let's continue picking vegetables. Everyone also joined in and told the old people not to worry. Li Chunhua kept telling jokes. Slowly, the old people put down their worries. Everyone had lunch happily and then squeezed around the old people, watching TV and drinking tea with them. After a happy afternoon, they had dinner again. Xiao Fei, you are all leaving tomorrow. Take everyone to our night market in the evening. It's also quite interesting. The old people knew that the children wanted to accompany them, but they couldn't bear to see the young people wasting time by their side. Although Gao Fei had a smile on his face, he was very depressed in his heart. In order not to be discovered by the old people, he was very uncomfortable. After Grandma Gao said this, he agreed without much hesitation. He said goodbye to the two elders with a smile, and his face fell as soon as the door was closed. He took everyone to the night market without saying a word. Everyone knew that Gao Fei was in a bad mood, so they followed him silently without saying anything. The night market in Guyane is not very large. In the planned area, there are long spherical light bulbs. Under the twinkling lights, the hawking of various vendors, mixed with colorful fragrances, is full of the lively atmosphere of human life. Gao Fei was in a bad mood and walked forward absent-mindedly and was pulled down by Li Chunhua. What are you doing? Are you making things difficult for yourself? Li Chunhua didn't understand why Gao Fei was so hypocritical. Yes, his uncle and aunt had bad intentions and wanted to occupy his house, but weren't they still thinking about it? Let them think if they want to. Come on, let's have barbecue. Lin Fan stopped in front of a barbecue stall that looked good. When you are in a bad mood, just have a barbecue. If you really can't, 2 meals. No, sister. Gao Fei said embarrassedly. He knew he had caused trouble for everyone. I haven't eaten enough tonight. What about you? Lin Fan ignored Gao Fei and turned to Wen Sangren. Well, I'm not full either. Let's eat something more. How about you? Song Ren asked the others. Not full, not full. Li Chunhua pushed Gao Fei to his seat, and Jiu followed without saying a word. Gao Fei felt even worse when he saw everyone caring so much about him. After ordering the food, Lin Fan asked the boss to bring more beer. Okay, if you have anything to say that makes you unhappy, just say it out. Don't bring it back and make the old man worry. Lin Fan could see that after the accident in the morning, the old man had been forcing a smile, not wanting to worry his grandson. Gao Fei was not an awkward person. After drinking a glass of wine, he confided his feelings to everyone. When my parents passed away, I was still in junior high school, and I felt like the sky had fallen. Compared to my grandparents, my uncle and aunt are the ones who really helped me hold up the sky. Everyone knew that he needed to talk, so they kept silent, ate slowly, and listened to him silently. My uncle and aunt had just gotten married at that time, and I could feel their sincerity. My uncle didn't go to work every day, and he kept an eye on the perpetrator day and night, fearing that he would run away, and the compensation would be gone. My grandparents are old and sad every day, so they don't care about me much. My aunt held my hand everywhere. I still remember that hand, warm and soft. I still remember my aunt patting me to sleep and telling me not to be afraid, her young smiling face. I still remember it clearly. At that time, everyone surrounded me, and Jang Yeohei came to see me every day. After a year of suspension from school, my life returned to normal. It seemed no different, except that my parents were gone. After entering high school, Gao Fen's homework became increasingly busy. His aunt also became pregnant and soon had a little cousin. Her care and love for him naturally shifted to the newborn. Gao Fei did not feel neglected, but was happy for his uncle and aunt, and loved his little cousin very much. During the days of the college entrance examination, his uncle and aunt also sent him to the examination room. When he came out, his aunt was waiting outside the door and handed him tea as soon as possible. When did it change? Gao Fei recalled carefully. It was probably after he went to the airport and came back less. But if the feelings between people will become less because of less time together, then what is going on between him and Jang Yeohei? If they are short of money, they can tell me. I can give it to them. Gao Fei drank a few cups and was already a little drunk. No one stopped him, and Jiu even helped him pour wine. Because of Lin Fan, several people have a preliminary understanding of psychology. Knowing that such emotions cannot be depressed in the heart, venting directly is the best result. Lin Fan felt that Gao Fei's uncle and aunt might not be short of money. They just felt that they had paid too much for Gao Fei and the elderly, and naturally wanted to assign some things to themselves. Gao Fei has been away from home for many years, and they take care of the family. Even if there is no credit, there is hard work. Isn't all these years of hard work worth a house? Besides, Gao Fei has a bright future and is not short of money. When he gets married and starts a family, he will not continue to live in such an old house. They also took Gao Fei's feelings into consideration and did not dare to express them directly in front of him. But the little cousin who had heard and seen so much about him for a long time was outspoken and tore off this disguise. Gao Fei drank more and more. He talked about his parents and Jang Yeohei. In the end, he cried and expressed his concerns about the two old people. But what can he do? Wearing this outfit, everything can only be put aside. Gao Fei's alcohol tolerance is not good, so he gets drunk quickly. He chatted and exposed himself in front of the four people. It was not until he lay on the table without moving that the few people ended the midnight snack. Lee Chun-hua took it upon herself to carry the unconscious drunk on her back and walked home step by step. Uncle and aunt have their own small family, so they will naturally plan more for themselves. They are not that bad, and they still love Gao Fei in their hearts, otherwise they would not hide it and do not want him to know. Feelings will change with the passage of time. No one is forever unchanged. Gao Fei still has the thinking of a child. Vote for Gao Fei. Chapter 148 Arrival. Grandma Gao, who was waiting at home, saw that her grandson was carried back on his back. Her eyes were sore, and she hurried to help him. What's wrong? Don't worry, Grandma, he just drank too much. Lee Chun-hua put him on the sofa with a smile. Grandma Gao hurried to get a hot towel for Gao Fei. Thank you for your hard work. Grandpa Gao sighed and thanked everyone. You're welcome. Song Ren replied, Gao Fei is our partner, and it's our duty to take care of him. Okay. Grandpa Gao was very happy that his grandson had a good partner who cared about him, and he felt comforted. His grandmother and I are old and can't take care of him. We were always worried in the past. Now that I see you, I'm finally relieved. Yes, Grandma Gao said with a smile, while helping her grandson wipe his face. We can finally rest assured after seeing you these 2 days. In the future, I hope you can help my little Fei more in your work and life. His parents passed away early. Grandma Gao couldn't help crying again. Lin Fan hurriedly hugged the old man in his arms to comfort him. Yes, we will definitely take care of him as a brother. I promise you, as long as I'm here, no one will hurt Gao Fei, okay? Lin Fan did not feel any psychological resistance when he hugged Grandma Gao. She didn't know why she suddenly took the initiative to get close to strangers, but she feels pretty good at the moment. The old couple of the Gao family thanked them repeatedly. They have lived for so many years, and naturally they can see that a group of people are headed by this girl. Before others were shocked by Lin Fan's initiative to get close to Grandma Gao, they heard her promise. Song Ren and Lee Chun-hua both knew that Lin Fan was a person who kept her word, and her promises were not made lightly. But Ji-yu thought directly that Lin Fan's promise was equal to Xingchen's promise. Gao Fei now has a big bodyguard. Gao Fei didn't wake up until the next morning. He looked at the bright sky, and it took him 3 seconds to remember that he had to set off to Lin Fan's house today. He immediately turned over and jumped out of bed. Okay, stop busying yourself. I'm not leaving today. Lee Chun-hua leaned against the door frame while biting an apple. Seeing Gao Fei jumping anxiously, she spoke out to stop him. Am I delaying things? Gao Fei put on his clothes and rushed out of the room. No, I can't bear to leave Grandpa and Grandma Gao. I want to stay with them for one more day. Lin Fan sat at the table and ate melon seeds. When Gao Fei said last night that he couldn't let go of the two elders, she asked Ji-yu to change the flight and stay here for one more day. The two elders are old, and it's not known when they will see Gao Fei next time. It's better to stay one more day. Gao Fei knew it was for him. Thinking of his gaffe last night, he wanted to dig a hole in the ground and crawl into it. No one mentioned what happened the day before, as if nothing had happened. The two elders of the Gao family were very happy to know that the children would stay for one more day before leaving. They bought a lot of dishes for them to eat. Everyone spent a day in a lively manner, and finally said goodbye to Grandpa and Grandma reluctantly the next day. Walking downstairs, Jiang Yaohei greeted everyone in the business car. He learned the departure time from Gao Fei and was going to take everyone to the airport. After another farewell, several people entered the VIP lounge at the airport. Thanks to Lin Fan, they bought first-class tickets for the plane. It must be said that the VIP lounge at the airport is much more upscale than the one at the train station. Not only are there luxurious seats, various drinks and snacks, but there is also a gym and yoga room. Lee Chun-hua looked at the free cigar for a long time, but finally did not try it. Although the difference is not small, the few people who have experienced VIP service once can already behave calmly. It is the 29th day of the lunar year, and there are also many people at the airport. The group of people holding first-class passes boarded the plane first under the guidance of the flight attendants. The flight attendants on the plane thoughtfully led them to their seats. There are a total of 6 seats in the first-class cabin. There are 3 portholes near the window, and the sensitivity is very good. It's just a double-hung window, and the field of vision will be limited when looking out. The first-class cabin on the plane has more upscale seats than those on the high-speed train. It is more like an independent compartment. You can listen to music, watch movies, or sleep freely in it. The door can be closed to form a semi-enclosed space, which guarantees the privacy of passengers very well. Lin Fan chose a seat by the window, with Song Ren next to him, and Lee Chun-hua behind him. As soon as he put his luggage and sat down, the beautiful stewardess brought welcome drinks. Lin Fan chose Coke. Lee Chun-hua chose champagne. Until the plane took off, no one got on the last first-class cabin. It takes more than 2 hours to get from Giant to Lin Fan's hometown. Several people, including Song Ren, did not sleep and kept studying the various functions of the first-class cabin. The stewardess came to serve from time to time. Lin Fan took the opportunity to order a lot of snacks, and he didn't stop eating until the plane landed. After getting off the plane and taking the airport bus, he arrived in the city center more than an hour later. He still called to taxis to go directly to the downstairs of the community. Looking at the long-lost environment, Lin Fan felt a lot of emotion in his heart. The last time he stood here was more than half a year ago. She saw a grove not far away, hesitated for a moment, and walked straight over. The others followed her without knowing why. In the grove, many leaves had fallen, revealing bare branches, not as lush as in the summer. But the tall grass was still there, and I didn't know what kind it was. It was still lush even in the coldest days of winter, and it didn't look like it was going to die. At the entrance of the grove, Lin Fan didn't see the familiar bowl. She was silent for a moment and walked inside again. Sure enough, she didn't see anything. She looked into the bushes again, but still nothing. The cat bed prepared by Grandma Pei was gone. Lin Fan stood there, silent for a long time. Song Ren walked up and asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Lin Fan shook his head, sorted out his mood a little lonely, and led everyone home. When they opened the door, a special smell came out of the house that hadn't been inhabited for a long time. "Wait a minute," Lin Fan instructed, walked in barefoot, and quickly opened the window for ventilation. He took a few pairs of cotton slippers from the cabinet in the room and threw them at the door. "Come in first, it's a bit cold at home. Turn on the air conditioner after changing the air. The winter in my hometown is full of dampness and coldness. The temperature is not as low as in the north, but it feels much colder." Several people went into the house and found a place to stay. Because they left in the summer, there were still short-sleeved clothes hanging on the clothes line on the balcony. Lin Fan turned on the water and electricity and boiled a pot of water first. He threw the clothes that had been hanging for more than half a year into the washing machine again, along with the dirty clothes in the bag that he had taken off 2 days ago. Several people sat on the wooden sofa, watching the busy Lin Fan, and felt that she was full of life at this moment. He poured boiled water for everyone, and the air was almost changed. Lin Fan was about to turn on the air conditioner when he was stopped by Song Ren. "Let's go out for dinner directly. It's just past 12 o'clock. Song Ren was not trying to save her electricity bill. After all, Lin Fan didn't care about that little electricity bill now. "Okay," Lin Fan responded readily. She ate all the way on the plane, but the others didn't. Putting the key in his pocket, Lin Fan took a few people downstairs to find food. Lin Fan arrived home. Does anyone remember what Lin Fan has at home? Please give me some money, I'm short of it. Chapter 149, Pocket Town. After going downstairs, they passed a kindergarten not far away. Lin Fan pointed and said that she went to school there when she was a child. Several people looked at the colorful exterior wall of the kindergarten with interest, imagining what Lin Fan looked like when she was a child. After leaving the community, Lin Fan pointed to a building opposite and said, "My original elementary school was here, but it was demolished after graduation." After walking about 500 meters forward, they saw a middle school. Lee Chun-hua said jokingly, "You didn't go to middle school here, did you?" "Yes." Lin Fan was about to introduce himself when Lee Chun-hua interrupted him. Looking at everyone's surprised expressions, "I went to junior high school here. Your schools are all near your home, which is too convenient." Lee Chun-hua turned around and could vaguely see the gate of the community. "We are a small town. The city center is not very large." Lin Fan continued to lead the way in front. "We will soon reach the city center, downtown area, and shopping malls here." Several people walked forward another 200 meters with great interest and saw a large intersection. The traffic was indeed getting heavier. "You're not talking about that, are you?" Gao Fei pointed to a 3-story glass building on the opposite side of the road and asked. In fact, there was no need to ask, because it clearly said shopping mall and even a blind person could tell what it was. "Yes." Lin Fan turned around and smiled at the people who looked incredulous. "Welcome to Fairy Town." Even Lee Chun-hua couldn't react for a while. He thought his hometown was small enough, but he didn't expect it to be bigger than Lin Fan's hometown. "Come on, I'll take you to the city center." Lin Fan was very happy. When the green light came on, he took everyone across the street. In the alley next to the shopping mall, there is a food street with many snack shops. Lin Fan took a few people to eat, and soon filled everyone's stomach. There was nothing fun after dinner, so he turned around and went into the shopping mall next door to wander around. But there was really nothing to see in a 3-story shopping mall, especially when there was no need to shop. Everyone took a quick look at the shopping mall in the city center of Lin Fan's hometown and roughly got a preliminary and intuitive understanding of the economic level of their hometown. When Lin Fan and a few others came out of the mall and stood on the roadside, thinking about where else they could go for a walk, they were stopped by a voice. "Lin Fan." The male voice hesitated. "Is it Lin Fan?" Lin Fan turned around and saw a man in a police uniform and a thick wool hat walking towards her. "It's me." The man took off his hat and mask, revealing a face that looked quite familiar. Uncle Policeman? Lin Fan remembered who he was. It was Policeman A. When she went to the police station with John Woo. Policeman A choked in his heart. Although he knew that this was a public name, did he feel old? Hello, long time no see. Lin Fan saw him and thought of John Woo again and smiled unconsciously. Long time no see. Are you going home for the new year? Policeman A didn't hesitate and continued to greet Lin Fan. Yes, you are. Lin Fan asked. I'm on duty. There are many people during the New Year holidays, so we have to patrol and stand guard. Policeman A said with a smile. You have joined the special office and are working with Wu, right? He saw 4 people with unusual physiques standing behind Lin Fan and guessed that Lin Fan should have joined the special office to work. He wanted to ask, but found it difficult to open his mouth. Lin Fan naturally knew what he wanted to ask and nodded directly. Yes, I'm already working there. What about these people? As a responsible policeman, he must pay attention to all situations that may affect safety. Oh, they are accompanying me home and will leave tomorrow. Lin Fan smiled. We are colleagues. Policeman A nodded. That's it. Later, Wu, came back to our office to check your information. Did you know? In his heart, he still tended to favor his fellow villager Lin Fan. After knowing that she also joined the special office, he was happy for her from the bottom of his heart. Thinking of the previous things, he specially mentioned it to Lin Fan. Well, I know. Thank you. The unit wants to check the files. Lin Fan also felt the other party's kindness and did not perfunctorily. That's good. Policeman A remembered that when Lin Fan first entered the police station, her state was obviously different from now. Although the 4 guys behind her kept their eyes on her, they did not intend to monitor or control her, and they also took her as their leader. It seemed that she was doing well. After a few more pleasantries, Lin Fan suddenly asked Policeman A if there was a place to rent a car in the town. The 5 of them were going to Gaocheng tomorrow, and it would definitely be inconvenient to take a taxi. If possible, it would be more convenient to rent a car and drive it by themselves. I didn't know where to find a car rental company, and I happened to meet Policeman A. He patrolled the streets every day, and he must know these things better than ordinary people. Sure enough, Policeman A quickly provided information about a car rental company. After saying goodbye to him, Lin Fan and his group went directly to the car rental company. After arriving, they were surprised to find that it was a chain company and also had a branch in Gao. In this way, they could drive all the way from Gaocheng to Gao and return the car. Lin Fan happily ordered a 7-seater commercial vehicle. After thinking about it, there was nothing fun in the town, and it was not suitable to visit the park in the cold weather, so he drove the car directly back to the downstairs of his house. As soon as they got home, they turned on the air conditioners in both rooms and the living room. The air gradually warmed up, and everyone felt much more comfortable. Where are you staying tonight? Are you going to a hotel? Lin Fan asked the people in the living room while tidying up the mat on the bed in his room. Is there no room at your house? Song Ren still wanted to live with Lin Fan as much as possible. The big room can accommodate 2 people, but aren't there 4 of you? We don't have a sofa bed at home. Lin Fan said helplessly. Let's sleep on the floor. Do you have a quilt? Lee Chun-ho asked. The nearest hotel is outside the community, several hundred meters away, a bit far from Lin Fan. We do have a quilt, but it's too cold to sleep on the floor. Lin Fan shook his head. Sleeping on the floor in this weather is not possible. Even with the air conditioner on, it doesn't work. In fact, you can sleep on the sofa. Gao Fei said. The long sofa can accommodate 1 person. The wooden sofa in Lin Fan's house is quite long, so it's no problem for 1 person to sleep, and the feet can be stretched out through the handrail hole. 1 more person is missing, Lin Fan said. 2 single sofas, a coffee table, and a stool can be put together to sleep 1 person. Gu had long noticed that the height of the wooden sofa was about the same as that of the coffee table and the stool, and there was no height difference after the quilt was placed. Since everyone had decided, Lin Fan had nothing to say. Pull out the quilt and make it yourself. Her quilts and bedding were packed in vacuum bags. There was a little smell when they were taken out, but it was not heavy, and it fell apart after blowing. A group of people helped to make the bed and fold the quilts, and it was done quickly. While walking, Lee Chun-hua saw the family album. After asking Lin Fan, she took it out and looked through it carefully. Gao Fei and Ji also came over to look together. When they saw Lin Fan as a child, they pointed at the photo and asked when it was taken. Lin Fan answered one by one. He opened the closet and dragged out all his clothes. "What are you doing?" Gao Fei saw that the tidy room was soon filled with all kinds of clothes, shoes, and bags, and he didn't understand what Lin Fan was doing. "Pack up the clothes and take them with you," Lin Fan said. "I have so many clothes at home. Instead of leaving them here to rot, I might as well take them to 800 to wear, so that you don't have to encourage me to buy clothes all the time." "When did you buy these clothes? Can they still be worn?" Lee Chun-hua asked while holding the photo album. "Why not?" Lin Fan's men kept saying. "They are all packed in vacuum bags. They are the clothes I wore before I was fat. Now I have lost weight and can wear them. They are not cheap. Anyway, I will have few opportunities to come back in the future, so it's best to take them all with me." She packed for a long time, resulting in her not going out for dinner, but ordering takeout. In the end, except for some relatively worn, large, and unwearable clothes that were thrown away, she packed 2 sacks and a suitcase of things to take away. "I was still thinking about whether to mail the 2 sacks of luggage to 800. When I was worrying about whether the post office would be open tomorrow, Song Ren picked them up and said, 'It's not heavy.' They had already rented a car, so it was convenient to go to Gao, and it was also convenient to take the plane back to Harbin. Not to mention that when they returned to Guangdong, the logistics department would have a car to pick them up." He waved his hand and told Lin Fan not to worry about it. "With so many of them, were you afraid that you couldn't take it away?" Lin Fan watched the 4 strong men try to lift the weights one by one, and even Ji Yu said there was no problem. He couldn't help but sigh. There are advantages to having more people. Small towns have their advantages, and big cities have their advantages. My hometown is good no matter what. Don't forget to vote. Chapter 150, Encounter with Grandma Pei. Oh, Xianophan is back. Early in the morning, as soon as Lin Fan opened the door, he saw Aunt Mao coming downstairs. She looked at Lin Fan with a look of surprise. "Good morning, Aunt." Lin Fan greeted politely. "I was saying that I heard the sound of guitar playing downstairs last night, and I was wondering if you were back," Aunt Mao said as she walked down the stairs. After packing her luggage last night, Lee Chun-hua discovered that there was a guitar in Lin Fan's house. She bought it specially for learning music the year she just came back. It was not cheap at the time, nearly 10,000 yuan. Later, it was left idle in her bag. Lee Chun-hua knew that Lin Fan had learned guitar, and she asked her to play a song on the spot. Gao Fei and Ji also clapped and cheered. Lin Fan was familiar with them, so he didn't refuse. He tuned the guitar seriously, and in everyone's expectation, he played Romance of Love stutteringly. Seeing the audience's faces stiffen from expectation, Lin Fan laughed first. "You asked me to play. I said I haven't played for a long time, so my hands are so rusty." "That's what I said, but I didn't expect you to be so rusty. After all, seeing how expensive this guitar is, I thought you must be good at playing." Lee Chun-hua complained with a constipated look on her face. "Not as good as our boss." When Lin Fan heard that Song Ren also knew how to play, he hurriedly handed the guitar over. Song Ren didn't refuse, tried the feel, and played a song casually. Smooth notes popped out from his fingertips. It was obvious that he was a master. After the song ended, everyone applauded. The fanboy Lee Chun-hua clapped his hands so hard that they turned red and asked for another song. However, Lin's father called and confirmed with Lin Fan the time to arrive in Gaocheng tomorrow, so the matter was left unresolved. But Song Ren suggested that Lin Fan bring his guitar as well. As we all know, musical instruments will be useless sooner or later if they are not played for a long time and not maintained. Okay. Lin Fan nodded. He already had so many things, so he wasn't afraid of adding one more. He didn't expect that the performance last night was heard by the upstairs. "Did you disturb me?" Lin Fan asked hurriedly. The most feared thing among neighbors is to cause unnecessary disturbance to others. No, no. Aunt Mao walked to the bottom step. It sounds pretty good at the back. Your uncle insisted that it wasn't you who played it. He said that you can't play the guitar so well. Puff. Someone in the room couldn't help laughing. Hey, who's home? Aunt Mao poked her head out. Oh, so many guys. Several people were about to go out for exercise, and they were all waiting at the door, but were blocked by Lin Fan. It was dark and a bit scary at first glance. My colleague, Lin Fan introduced briefly. Oh, colleague, I thought you had a partner. Aunt Mao looked left and right, and thought that all the guys were good. When Lin Fan saw that the topic was going off, he quickly asked the people inside to come out, and locked the door. He said hello to Aunt Mao, who was obviously not satisfied, and went downstairs for a run. On the morning of New Year's Eve, there were not many pedestrians in the community. Everyone did not leave the community, but ran along the central green belt. After more than 10 laps, when a thin layer of sweat appeared on several people's bodies, Lin Fan was stopped again. Xiaolin, is it Xiaolin? The white-haired Grandma Pei was carrying vegetables, and looked at Lin Fan uncertainly. It's me, Grandma Pei. Lin Fan ran over. When she stopped, the others naturally stopped and followed her. Xiaolin, I haven't seen you for a long time. I thought something happened to you. Grandma Pei was still very energetic, and her silver hair was combed meticulously. I'm sorry to have worried you. Lin Fan apologized with a smile. I was in a hurry at the time, and didn't have a chance to say hello to you. I'm really sorry. No. Grandma Pei waved her hand and smiled. You look much better than before. This is good. Young people should be like this. Grandma Pei didn't ask Lin Fan about his illness, but there were so many rumors in the community, and seeing Lin Fan's appearance, she knew it in her heart. She was also worried for a while. Now she looks rosy, slim, and talks and laughs with people. As an elder who cares about her, she is the happiest. Who are these? No one can ignore the 4 handsome guys with different looks behind Lin Fan. My colleague. Lin Fan specially introduced Grandma Pei to the people behind him, and everyone greeted him. Old people like energetic young men, and Grandma Pei was in a better mood. After knowing that she was going to Gao Cheng to reunite with her parents soon, she didn't bother her too much. It was just that before saying goodbye, she was a little hesitant. In the end, Lin Fan couldn't help but ask first. Meow meow. Grandma Pei wanted to say this. She sighed. You saw it. In the fall, someone reported it. The big ones are all gone, and I rescued 2 kittens and kept them at home. Why were they reported? Lin Fan frowned. Stray cats are not like stray dogs. Most of the time they avoid people. It is generally difficult for them to hurt people. These cats have been in the community for several years. Although they cried a lot for a while, it is the natural habit of animals. Apart from this, there is no special interference. Who knows? Grandma Pei sighed again. I don't know who was offended and was reported. No one cares about those who abandon cats and dogs, but no one can accommodate these poor abandoned ones. The stray animals in the community are not from the mountains. Most of them are abandoned by the residents of the community. Don't be sad. Lin Fan knew how much Grandma Pei loved these little animals. It's in the past. It's also Mio's own choice. Let them go home with me, and they won't go back. Grandma Pei seemed to complain bitterly, and then laughed. Not long after they took the cats away, there was a rat infestation in the community. Ha ha ha, it really made me laugh to death. Cats are the natural enemies of mice. It is normal to have rats in such a large community with so many people living there. Normally, there are stray cats in the community, so naturally there are no rats. But once the cats are removed, the rats begin to run rampant. They've got a lot more rat poison. Grandma Pei motioned them to look in the corner, and there was indeed a small black box. They're afraid that children will eat it by mistake, and they're also afraid that pet dogs will eat it by mistake. Ha. Grandma Pei didn't say anything else. It was hard to tell whether she was sad or happy on her face, and they were complicated and intertwined. Grandma, don't be sad. Lin Fan knew that Grandma Pei was still sad, but it's too difficult for an old lady to rescue animals. Not sad. Grandma Pei swept away her sadness and invited with a smile. Do you want to go to my house to see the kitten? Lin Fan hesitated for a moment and refused. No, I'll be worried after seeing it. You know me. Yes, yes, yes. How could I forget it? You are the softest hearted, and it's hard to let go after seeing it. That little teddy. Grandma Pei slapped her thigh and said in annoyance, it's my fault. You're talking about these nonsense again. It's okay, Grandma. Lin Fan had the idea of going over to see it, but finally gave up cruelly. By the way, I still have some unfinished cat food at home. Shall I send it to your house later? I'm not at home now, and I can't use it. Please don't mind. Grandma Pei hurriedly said no. After saying a few more words, she said goodbye. Lin Fan no longer had the heart to exercise, and the others turned back. Lee Chun-ho asked what happened to the little teddy. Lin Fan didn't hide it. She said that last spring, she and Grandma Pei rescued an injured stray little teddy, but unfortunately it passed away later. She was depressed for a long time because of this. Lin Fan's depression was not the ordinary depression. Everyone was shocked. At the same time, they also understood why she was afraid to go out, probably because she was afraid of encountering similar things and couldn't let it go. Okay, don't think about it. I'm much better now than before. Lin Fan turned back to comfort them. Hurry up, we have to go to Grandma Pei's house later. After packing up the clean clothes that were washed and dried yesterday, Lin Fan and others quickly packed the quilt and vacuumed it. The bedding was packed in a bag and taken to Gaocheng for washing. Then, when Lin's father came back, he could bring it back. The few of them quickly packed their luggage and loaded it into the car. Lee Chun-ho delivered the things to Grandma Pei's house on behalf of Lin Fan, and the car quickly drove to Gaocheng. Grandma Pei appeared at the beginning. Does anyone remember her? Vote for the kind Grandma Pei. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.